over. We're about 17 minutes late, but we here on a Friday. Been a busy, busy Friday for everybody involved, man. How you doing today, Coop?
I'm running today.
Well, last night I was out in Magic City, for a good friend of mine's birthday party, or I don't want to say party. It was just guys getting together, celebrating, and watching the Lakers as we were in Magic City doing what we
Oh,
do.
you
And
were in Big City watching the Lakers.
Magic City watching the Lakers. You know what I love about strip clubs though, especially in Atlanta, man.
Chicken wings.
I wasn't
Oh,
gonna say the chicken wings, man. The music. It's
yeah, that
like
too.
you hear all the new music at the strip clubs. I remember we used to go to Follies, man, and I'd be hearing stuff like, "Yo, what is this?" And you know
That,
who's really banging by what you hear in the strip club. And I will say this: Future is a legend. Straight up, Future is a legend.
he is, but you put the bag you got to put the bag up for that situation. I've had conversations down here about those situations when I was active. I already know how that whole game gets played. I already know, like at least in our time, Mike. I already know what you had to pay the DJ, what
Oh,
you had to pay the top girl,
I remember.
and how often you had to pay them to like be in rotation.
Well,
I know
that was the first time I heard Jeezy, and I think I may have told this story on the show before. This was way back in the day. I was in radio and I was in college, and we went to Strokers like on a break or something, like on a lunch break class or something, and yeah, I seen this CD there, and they just kept playing this guy's music. And me and Ron was actually with me, and we were asking the stripper like, "Who is this?" She was like, "It's Jeezy. He be making it rain on us every time he come up in here." What up to everybody in the room? Everybody saying what's up, what's up? Yes, we're gonna get to it, but yes, that was the first time I ever heard Jeezy, and Jeezy's momentum really got started in the strip club too. But yeah, I do love going to the strip club for the music. I know people think I'm fronting when I say that, but I
No,
do.
no, no, no. This is Atlanta, and people have to understand that the after hours spots bring a lot of ambiance and additives outside of the entrees, obviously. Um,
They played 24s in Magic City last night, which I thought was interesting.
Not to me. Um, oh yeah, can I give a quick shout out?
Yeah, go
Before,
ahead.
shout out to my father, Rodney Pinkston. Call him Pink. That's why I'm wearing the pink shirt. Turn
Yeah.
67 tomorrow. Shout out to
Happy
Pops.
birthday. Happy birthday, Pops. I want to give a shout out to my man Ron Bay too, man. Him and his business partner JV, they're working on a play that they're writing about in Variety, or was written about in Variety, and they're going to be working with Blair Underwood. Big stuff, and I'm sure it's going to be more to come. It's on a black woman who was involved in World War II. And you know what? We might need to have Ranve on to actually speak a little bit more about it.
Mm.
Shout out to Ranve out there, man. He's part of the team, really, and he's an avid listener, and he listens to all of our shows and really adds into a lot of the discussions too. So yeah, shout out to them, big stuff. I love it. I love to hear all that kind of progress being made. I had a couple of meetings today myself, like with the trivia game, according to hip hop. And if you don't have the trivia physical card game, go out there and get it. We're working on some digital things that are it's gonna really, really put the game on a whole nother plateau and make it really, really fun for people to engage and interact through their mobile devices and all that stuff. So good stuff going on, great stuff going on, and I got a chance to listen to some dope new music that came out today.
The trivia game is fun. It is.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the game is fun. Like I mean, that's not even like necessarily my steez, but it's like when we played, I enjoyed it. Like it was fun.
I
Definitely interactive. Like it's what you want. It's a good group activity. It really is.
working on making it even more fun. DeCarlo said, yes, the game is really good. Appreciate that, DeCarlo. Yeah, DeCarlo bought a copy. And anybody that want to go buy a copy, you can go to www.accordingtohiphop.com and click the game section. And my phone is still blowing up. I think this is some more programmers wanting to set meetings. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, let's get to this hip hop. Did
Stick
you
to the
check
mic.
out the RZA and DJ Scratch album? I saw that on my radar, but I didn't check it out. I'm
I
seeing
haven't
that in the
listened.
chat.
I haven't listened yet, but I'm going to.
What did you think about it in the chat? Anybody who heard that album in the chat, the RZA and DJ Scratch album, what did y'all think about it? Well, I know what I do want to start off here because I know we're going to talk new music. We're actually going to talk some rebuttals from our MC rating chart that we did Wednesday. A lot of people had a lot of things to say, and I know there's a lot of clarification and things we need to address as it pertains to that. But I want to start with Pusha T.
Is that where we're starting?
I want to start with Pusha T.
It's cool. Oh my God.
Pusha T dropped a single. We've heard snippets of this song. What's the name of the song? I forgot. It slips me.
Isn't this what Nigel?
No. That's who it's featuring. Somebody in the chat tell me real quick because I can't look it up on my phone. My phone's ringing. So
Hear Me Clearly.
Hear Me Clearly. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Hear Me Clearly dropped at midnight. We had heard some of the song from the fashion show. That was what, in Paris? Anyway, we loved it when we heard the snippet of it. I mean, at least I did. But then Diet Coke came. He performed Diet Coke last night on The Late Show. Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, he performed it at The Late Show, and he was performing it in some artificial snow. Snow was coming down and all that stuff.
You know, I was actually listening to the album that line came from today. I listened to Hell Hath No Fury today.
Mm.
The news called it crack. I called it Diet Coke. Oh. Yeah.
So, what were your thoughts on Hear Me Clearly?
I mean, he is who I said he was, Mike. He is who I said he was. You know, he's the modern day Cool G rap. He's on message. He sounds great. I mean, if we're gonna quibble, it's like, does he sound like Hell Hath No Fury level lyrically? No. Delivery wise, yes. Daytona wise, is the music as exciting? As far as two records go, I would say no, but he's in the wheelhouse. We'll see how the rest of it plays out. He also tends to be somebody, like, if you know, being a single is one of the rare moments for him where it's like, well, one of your best songs is actually your single. He usually doesn't work that way. So he may be reverting more back to form where, like, the real heat, you may not have heard yet.
I think these songs are heat. I think he's going for a cinematic type of look. But
I didn't say they weren't heat.
Yeah, but it feels a little bit predictable. I think that's why it's not blowing people away. Spliff Spark says, I'm more impressed with the game than Pusha T. And that's interesting you say that because I do want to talk about the game. Did you see that video for Easy? Okay. Well, it's a music video for Easy, and we'll get back to Pusha T real quick, but I think this is worth talking about in the flow of the conversation. So the controversy in this video is the fact that people believe that during Kanye West's verse, he is taking a claymation version of what people think is Pete Davidson and burying him alive.
Sounds fishy.
And so, you know, people are calling this toxic and this and that. You know. But listen, I don't like bringing this person in the conversation, but again, we have to, based on the context of this. No one batted an eye when Eminem buried his own mother in a music video. I mean, am I wrong? He did that. That happened. And my thing with Pete Davidson, Pete Davidson's a big boy.
Pete's gonna be all right.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He makes a living on a television show that makes fun of Kanye West and his family from week to week.
For decades. We're going on decades now. I mean, we're going on decades of actually them making fun of him now.
And
we're
also,
like number 2 of the mockery.
And also, I think it's noteworthy that, you know, rest in peace to Mac Miller. Pete Davidson is also the same person that was sending Mac Miller photos of him and Ariana Grande, Mac Miller's ex-girlfriend, doing provocative sexual stuff to
It's
his
very
cell phone.
problematic. Mike, it's very problematic where you're taking this
So, with
conversation.
all of those things being said, I think Pete Davidson could take this, or he should be able to.
Take that.
But again, I don't think it's as outrageous as someone actually burying their own mother in a music video. Um, so yeah, as far as that goes, I mean, I think that's just artistic freedom at that point. He didn't say it was that guy.
All the freak motherfuckers running around. Yeah.
So and again, I know people are gonna say I'm caping for Kanye, but my thing is, at what point is hip hop not allowed to be shocking? Like we applaud NWA for that. When I listen to Niggas for Life now, their sophomore album, it's so many moments in there that's just it's cringy now.
It's cringing, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of cringy stuff on there, yeah.
Yeah. And so, but again, those are things that we say push the boundaries, and it is what it is. I don't think that I don't think that's a threat on anyone's life. But that's just my opinion, but could be wrong. But all that being said, we have a lot of new music coming up because they mentioned the game. So obviously, Drillmatic's on the way, right? We got a date on Pusha T's album. That's going to be March 25th. And we're going to talk a little bit about more what we expect on that as we're talking about Hear Me Clearly. And we also have Benny the Butcher next week. We got a date on that. March is going to be bringing us a lot. So Hear Me Clearly. I love the beat on that. I think it's very similar to Diet Coke, though. Am I wrong?
You think that?
I mean, as far as, I don't know if it's stylistically, but, it's like, maybe it's the approach, production-wise.
I think the approach may be the same. Different sides of the spectrum, though. But I get what you're saying. But that's what I mean. Might be fitting into a greater theme. This album might end up being kind of conceptual.
I could see those songs honestly being back to back on an album. And honestly, I could see both of those songs being number 1 and 2 on the album.
I was thinking like 3 or 4 or 4 or 5, but yes.
Possibly. I don't think he's going to do an intro. I mean, I think right now we're just doing rough predictions, and I think that's what we're about to do on the Benny album. But I think that he's just going to go right in like he did with If You Know, You Know on Daytona.
But even the beginning of If You Know, You Know has an intro-ish kind of feel because of how Kanye literally just,
Now, granted, I don't think Diet Coke sounds like a first song. So it might the album could possibly suffer if I am right.
No, that's what I mean. If Diet Coke is leading off the album, I don't know if this is going to be album of the year. That's what I mean. If these songs, I could see these songs fitting thematically in an album player somewhere between 3, 4, and 5. Like, there could be even a song between these two songs. If I'm not mistaken, like, are the clips are getting back together? Maybe.
Where did you hear that at?
I've been hearing.
You think the clips are good? I mean, that would be great.
Be beautiful.
But I thought that Malice's decision was more spiritually based.
It was, maybe there's some common ground. Maybe there's some God and Devil album kind of coming. Pusha's already plays a very good bad guy. So,
I'm sitting here looking at Game's Instagram to see if we got a date on him yet.
I don't think I think it's too early.
Think he's still working?
Yeah, I think he's still working.
Game does a lot, when it comes to just pulling a lot of different people together. So, it might take a lot,
The album's called Drillmatic, so Nas is on there. He keeps it West, so we're going to have some West Coast artists show up. We don't know who it could be. It could be Snoop, Ice Cube, Dre, Kendrick, Schoolboy.
Hit Boy seems to be on there.
Morty, Hit Boy.
Well, I know one person who's not on there. Well, I know 2 people who's not on there.
50?
Well, I wasn't going to say 50, but yeah, he's not on there, obviously. Kendrick Lamar and Jay-Z.
No. Kendrick might show up on Drillmatic. You don't think so?
No.
Kendrick has showed up on a couple of Game albums.
Kendrick's not showing up anywhere.
They say I'm hating. We'll get to that later.
We'll get to the Kendrick discussions later, but I'm getting the notion that you really didn't like Hear Me Clearly like that.
No, I really enjoyed it. It's just, he's been saying album of the year, and these two songs are great, but they're not album of the year to me just yet.
Okay.
They're dope records. Don't think that I don't enjoy them. You know, like how I feel about Push. Like I enjoy the records, but I'm not floored by it either. But it's like also too, I was listening to Grinding today too, Mike. It's like, how long have I been listening to this dude rap as well? If somebody like is hearing him or is just getting acquainted with him in the last 5 years, they're probably enjoying these records more than somebody like you and I are. That's for sure.
DeCarlo brings up a discussion that I think maybe we should get to. He said, let's talk about why the Game thinks that Ye has done more for him in the past 2 weeks than Dr. Dre has his whole career.
I think that's just hurt about how the relationship has gone due to industry ties and whatnot, wouldn't you say?
I think that is a assessment about hands-on working relationship. These are things that Tupac has even expressed his discrepancies about when it comes to working with Dr. Dre.
Him not being there necessarily, or
yeah,
what?
and kind of getting credit for a lot of the non-hands-on, parts of what a producer does in hip hop. I think that.
So what is he not? Is he not in there helping create the feeling? Is that what we're saying?
I think that's what we're saying, because I know everyone's first thing is to say, "Oh, Game's salty. He didn't get to the Super Bowl halftime and all that." I don't think Game really expected to be on that stage, not to that degree. I think that what Kanye's probably bringing to the table in the studio, and we've spoken about this before when we talk about what Kanye was able to do with Common with B, and what he was able to do with John Legend, what he's been able to do with Pusha T, Daytona, whatever. He actually has a unique experience where he is just as much producer as he is artist. So he's able to explain and tell the artist what the artist need to hear as an artist and as a producer. And so maybe just him working really hands-on with the Game feels like he's really learning a lot more song structure-wise, and just Kanye's putting in a lot more hands-on work than Dr. Dre probably has ever done with him in the studio. Because I think we've talked about the two dynamics of the two producers before, right? We talk about the fact that Dre likes new artists to mold them into what he does, where Kanye's able to take what you already do great and amplify that. And that's where I kind of got from, him saying that. What do you think? You think it's a salty move, or you think it's I'll tell you what. If he's able to do with Game what he did with Common and B, and what he did with Pusha T with Daytona, we got to start having a whole nother conversation.
That's what I was about to say. Like we that depends on how this album sounds. So both can be true. Game can be salty right now, but he can be making some points that could be more validated depending on how this album comes off. Like, if this album is in the realm of a Daytona or a B, wouldn't that make it his best album, arguably?
Yeah, arguably. I mean, a lot of people love the documentary. Yeah. And see, I like the documentary for what it is, but I feel like the documentary is like, this is a all hands on deck thing.
It feels like a great collection of songs, but it doesn't have a classic album feel to it.
Right. And right. We can see that. We can say that about the documentary 2 and 2.5, which I think are dope. But
those feel more like albums than the documentary.
They do, because he's a better artist. But don't you think that he would hold a record higher? Like, he already holds Dr. Zaphagin very high. I think he says that's his best album. I think he will hold a record higher if it was just him and maybe like limited featured appearances and he made a great album as opposed to the record that people say he had so much help on.
Well, that's the thing about it. I was about to say, like, I get why he says that The Doctor's Advocate is his best album, because that's the album that he's rapping the most on without features. And even though it has features, it still feels like him at the helm and at the force. I don't know if the other two albums that are comparable to it, in my opinion, which would be the documentary and Jesus Piece, feel that way. And a lot of that is because of the greatness of the artists who feature with him on those respective projects. It's like I told you, like, my favorite J. Cole verse might be Pray on Jesus Piece, Mike. You know?
Let me get to Unknown Super Chat. Shout out to Unknown for the Super Chat. He said Pusha has gotten married, had a kid, and lost his mom. We're still getting coke bars in 2022. It's the reason that he never reached any further success. Wow, you really went somewhere else with that. I thought Unknown Name was gonna be like he's still giving us an album while certain people are resting, but
very shady how you did that. It's disrespectful, and you didn't even say your name.
We're still getting coke bars, but we're actually getting an album release date. With all those things you mentioned, Unknown Name, with the loss of a mother, a marriage, and bringing a new child in the world, we're still getting an album.
It's very problematic that you did all that.
I'm just being honest.
No. I mean, I get what he's saying, but it's like I don't, and it's kind of like a cheap shot. You know?
I think that we met, but see, it's funny. Last week when we got an introspective album from Conway,
everybody called it boring.
Yeah,
right. So funny how that goes. Nobody's calling this stuff boring, but it's like, oh, here we go with these coke bars. It's like, oh, well, you want him to get more personal? Because it's like Conway just did that. And y'all was like, nah, like y'all tripping. Coop, you be giving Conway too much credit and yak, you know?
Right.
All that. I remember all that.
Hold on one second.
Somebody pulling up on you, Mike? We got a problem out here?
No, man.
Somebody outside, Mike?
Nah, nobody's pulling up. It's just text after text. I got to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, if you start delving into that, people will say it's boring. Now, do y'all want to hear Pusha T rap about? And you know what? I do think that does separate certain levels of MCs. When you're able to talk about just everyday life and make it exciting, then that does separate you. But do we not want to see somebody do what they do well?
Okay, so remember I was talking about my guy Ryan Turner last week, and we were talking about the intangibles, or was that earlier this week? Hold on, that was Wednesday.
That was Wednesday.
I was like, when we were talking about the intangibles, I said, he said you hire what you can't teach. Well, another thing that he also taught me was that when you know that somebody is great at something, you bring that greatness out of them as much and as often as you can. Not to say that you don't work on weaknesses, but if you know that they're great at something, why would you try to circumvent that? Why would you try to hold that down? Why would you try to suppress that? You want that to come out and to blossom and to flourish. And so that's why I tell people, it's like, because a lot of people be like, well, Coop, how can like Nas be your favorite MC from one era and then it be Pusha T in the next era? It's like, well, don't you hear how great he is at what he does?
Do you really want Shaq to come out and start shooting shots from the perimeter?
Right, that's what I mean. It's like that's what it is. It's like you can love Shaq and love AI. Like you can love both of them and say that they're all-time great and appreciate their games, and they can be your 1 and 2 favorite players. They can. It can happen just like that.
No, most definitely. But I understand where people are coming from, because it's like it's hard to put somebody who people would say is possibly a one-trick pony ahead of somebody who has an array of versatility. I mean, hip-hop has shown us over the past 40 years of its recording history that there's so many possibilities on the mic. And I'm gonna name somebody who, you know, we've kind of given some flack to on this show in recent year, and probably will get some flack to today. But let's look at Common and his ability to change with the times, be on a song like The Light, be on a song like, you know, The Corner. I mean, his range over his career has been amazing.
It's very impressive.
And his subject matter is just as amazing as well, you know. A song for Asada, even though, whatever, I'm not going to go into that. But
we're not touching it.
No, but as far as like some of the topics that he's chosen to take on, even the song with Lauryn Hill, like these are things that not every rapper speaks on. Yeah. Yeah, awesome.
I thought that was his first. I thought that was his coming out party of becoming a well-rounded MC. Actually, off One Day It All Makes Sense. Yeah.
So when we look at somebody who's able to do all those things like him, and then to compare it to someone who doesn't have all that versatility, it's hard to say. As great as somebody like a Pusha T is, it's hard to make an argument to say he's greater than Common when you got somebody who can make the 6th Sense, The Light, The People, and anything else with the at the beginning of the title, you know?
You want to know what? That would be the argument where you would put somebody like a Common ahead of Cool G Rap and Pusha T and Conway and those guys.
Yeah.
Yes. Because here's what Common has for that, though. He has at least a couple of classics under his belt that speak to
We
that.
got to put Common in our rating chart, in our rating system with the criteria.
No, he's getting rated. Because here's why, for people who would put Common ahead of those guys, you could say that.
Yeah.
Like Water for Chocolate and B.
Yeah.
Those are 2 classic solo albums. And then you can go to Resurrection and One Day It'll All Make Sense and Finding Forever.
His top 5 is tough.
His top 5, 6 is tough. And so is Pusha T's top 5, 6 that tough? No.
Shout out to Jay Short with the super chat. He says, as opposed to Pusha, the game has tried to be a jack of all trades. And I think that's hurt him in finding his loyal following. I think that's an interesting assessment because, honestly, that does mess up a loyal following when people don't know what to really expect from you. And it comes across that you're just going to make songs that match whoever you're making songs with. You know what I mean? He's done that.
No, I do know what you mean.
He's done that sometimes. And I like the game. Initially, I wasn't a big Game fan, but he's won me over the years. And like, I remember he did a song, I think it was with Big Boy from Outkast, and he sounded like Big Boy when he was on the record. I've always thought him and Nas sound alike when they're on records together. It's uncanny, man. It's crazy.
Very weird. What's Common's sixth best album? Sixth best album.
Common's 6th best album. This is where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go B, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna go like Water for Chocolate.
Okay, yep.
I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna go One Day It All Makes Sense.
Okay. That's
then
in my top
I'm
5.
going Resurrection, then Finding Forever.
Yep, that's the 5.
And number 6 to me, man, it might be Black America Again or The Dream of the Believer.
I'm gonna go Black America Again.
I like The Dream of the Believer, but again, you know what? This is the thing. The Dream of the Believer is very similar to 444, and they're both produced by No ID. It's like they're good albums, but it's something about them that it's flat.
I want you to
and that's on the producer. I'm sorry, and I like No ID.
So that would be why we're taking Black America over that, is because you just made my point for me. It's very comparable to 444. Black America Again. Next.
Shout out to Kendall Outlaw in the chat with the super chat. He said Ludacris tried to change his topics like Runaway Love, and y'all slept on it. Yes. That is true.
No, we didn't sleep on it. It's just that. Okay, so he's a prime example of when he doesn't do what he's great at, people don't accept it. I told you, Pusha T has made in-depth records, and nobody talks about those records when he does.
Well, you know what? It's interesting the way you feel about Pusha T, and I feel that way about Pusha T, too. I feel the same way about Busta Rhymes. I feel the same way about Ludacris. I
You
feel
want
the
to know?
same. I
Hey,
don't want to hear them talk about stuff. I
hey,
want to
Mike,
hear them
can I
on
tell you
some.
something?
What? What's that?
Remember when I put Deep Thought from Busta Rhymes ELE2 in as one of the rhymes of the year?
Mm-hmm.
That was like intentional because people don't give Busta enough props as an MC who was like thoughtful and thought provoking as a spitter. When they talk about his greatness, they talk about the show, the performance, the voice, the rah rah rah, the
He's a
hits, and all this that, and
lyricist,
the other. I'm like, no. That dude lyrically, it's nice.
and he has a perspective. He always has.
He
You
always
know,
has.
the
I
Dungeon
mean,
family really, they credit him for giving them that introspective
who?
nature. The Dungeon family.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah. I
like
mean, I
when
know.
he
I've heard
gave
Dre
them.
say that that's his favorite MC.
What's that book that they? Somebody in the chat probably can. Pale. Is it Pale of the Iron Horse?
Behold,
Behold. Yeah.
behold the pale horse.
Yeah. Behold the Pale Horse. He
By
gave them.
William Cooper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Busta Rhymes gave them that book,
Oh,
and
word.
it changed everything. And you got cell
That's
therapy and all that stuff. Yeah.
that's a life changing book.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
yeah. So Busta Rhymes is, and it's so interesting. He is very aware, super aware. It doesn't come out in his music like that. But when he goes there, like you said, people don't want to hear that from him,
No, they don't want to hear.
and that's okay. I mean, because do I want to hear? Do I want to hear Red Man making self destruction? Not really.
Not necessarily. And you want to know what's crazy, Mike? Superman Lover 3 came on today, and I was like, yeah, Red Man, classic. Both
Again, you know, and again, I hate to continue to bring this person up, but we never asked for Eminem to be conscious in his material. We don't. We accept it for what it is, and people just mindlessly say he's top 5.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think there's levels to people who are able to take it there and be very versatile in that way, and you know, you just kind of have to put people in certain chambers, and that's how I've always felt about Eminem. I put him in that Ludacris chamber, the Redman chamber, where it's like we're gonna get, you know, a certain type of content from them.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna get the versatility of somebody like a Common, a Nas, a Jay, and you know, who could talk about any and everything, and we expect to hear them talk about any and everything on their album. DMX was great for that too, because DMX can give us a song about anything.
Anything at any point in his time.
Oh, people are saying Eminem was conscious though. Okay. White America was conscious. Okay. Okay, I guess so. I'll go back and listen again. I may stand corrected.
No, you won't.
His Eminem has gotten political. Was it the Trump freestyle y'all talking about, where he said the orange? When he tried to do that Fantastic Four line or whatever. Never mind. We'll be on that all day.
Listen.
But yeah. I'm looking forward to the Pusha T album. I
am too, but it's just you know, people. Okay, so how about this? If there was something thought provoking and in depth to give the people, like you want to know, what Conway did drop Stress. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If there was something like that to give, I do feel like he should have maybe pumped that out. Does that make sense?
I agree. I think that these two songs, Diet Coke and Hear Me Clearly, are in a very similar vein. And if there was some range to give, this would have been the time to do it. And I want to give Conway props for dropping that album last week. I thought that was an awesome turn. And he has shown in the past 3 full-length efforts that he can do anything.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Conway, and I think that is a great transition. We're getting Benny the Butcher next week. What do you expect from Tana Talk 4?
You know, I might be excited about this as the actual album of the year, potentially. How about that? Because all that I've been seeing is him working, but we haven't been hearing anything. And for me, That's the stuff that excites me.
We've been hearing slight things that Alchemist is there, Behringer is there, Premier is there. We've been hearing things like that.
Yeah. We
Things
just heard
that
the interview where he's talking about redoing 10 Crack Commandments. I mean, you know, you and I talked behind the scenes about how I feel about that song, and it's like, oh, it's like if you've been talking about 97 Hove and now you're going back 10 Crack Commandments and you're talking about getting a verse from Jay-Z and like doing these things, that's special album stuff. That's somebody that's trying to put together something special and wants you to know that he's putting together something special, but isn't letting you really hear anything. And that's the most important part.
I agree.
And that's the part that makes me think that it's like, oh, this shit might be special.
Let me get to the super chat real quick. Danal, I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Let's see. He says, I hate to be the dead horse, but what's the difference between flow and delivery? Because I would give Nas' flow a 10 and his delivery an 8. Good question. What would you respond to that, Coop?
I mean, hold on. What did he say he would give Nas' delivery?
He said a flow a 10, a delivery an 8.
I mean, if he was breaking it down, okay, so Nas's flow isn't always a 10 because I guess that would be the thing that's kind of hurt him during that transitional period, like when Ye is talking about how when Jay can rhyme over "Is that your bitch?" and Nas can't rhyme like that. That's the flow.
Okay.
Right. Nas's delivery is...
The delivery is you being great at the way that you already do it.
He's Nas.
And your
so
flow
Nas's delivery is Nas's delivery. It's good enough. It fits the bill. That's the guy from New York State of Mind. You get what I'm saying?
The flow is just the ability to change it up for other people.
The patternization of how you put it together. Yes.
For other purposes, like you said,
why you home alone? Why she mad at me? Why you home alone? Why she mad at me? Room 112, hotel balcony. Why she say, "Hey, you can hold house for me"? That's no respect at all. You better check it, dog.
What do you think, Jay? If somebody asks you what is Jay-Z's flow, what song would you pull out and say this is Jay-Z's flow?
Okay, so Jay-Z's flow to me is the guy that you're hearing like on The Evils, Can I Live, Friend or Foe, A Million and One Question, Imaginary Player. That's his flow.
It is his flow because I can't really put that flow on anybody else. Like the way he rapped on A Million and One, that doesn't sound like
Hold on, for all the people that say, "Hey, Mike, he has such an array of flows." Like,
he does.
Yes,
I think that Hard Knock Life flow is his flow too.
Because
if I heard somebody rapping like that, like you remember that he just got signed to Def Jam, and I don't want to disrespect the young rappers because I don't know his name off top. It'll come to me in a minute, but he kind of sounds like Jay, right? He has Jay's tone, but his delivery is similar to what we've heard from previous Jay records, and that is what the delivery is. Or like when what's his name, Gorilla Black went out there and sounded like Big. He was like, "Put the potato on the burrow." Like that's.
You want to know what it is too? Is that like
a delivery rather? Excuse me.
Yeah. And Jay is the author of a lot of original flows, much like Big, where it's like, well, that's authentic unto him. Because like even like when I hear Who You With, that's why I love Who You With, because it's like, well, that's Jay. Like
Jordan House said, "It's all right" is Jay's flow. It is.
Yes.
On the Jewels, I blew more money than Latrell. They don't know you too well. You gel like Flubber. I hover above the city in the private jet. Live is set. Pressure breaks. Feds want to investigate. Mr. I don't have nothing. Less than 8. And anything involved with my name, regardless of the fame, it's hard. I can't even walk through Harlem again.
Charge it to the game. American Express. Man died. All I did was inherit stress.
Wow.
Every jam tougher. You and your man bump you. Should just let you live, right? Negative.
I swear. Yo, all right. With all that being said, and I'm glad we went on that, my prediction for Benny's album is we're gonna get a Jay-Z feature. I think that Tana Talks 4. I think it would be great if we got a 97 Hove part 2, a remix or something like that
with
with
Jay.
Jay.
97 Hove Part 2 with Hove.
Jay.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think Jay needs this. I think it's the 25th anniversary of Volume 1 anyway. I think Jay is actually building up something for a re-release of the 25th anniversary, a show or something, because he's talking about Volume 1. And I think that this would be a perfect opportunity for Jay to insert himself into what's going on, hip-hop wise. I would hate to see Jay-Z miss the opportunity to get on Tana Talks 4 on the 25th anniversary of Volume 1 and not be on a part 2 of 97 Hove. They both need this.
Mm-hmm.
Hip-hop needs this.
Yeah, I agree.
Is that your favorite song on Tana Talk 3?
That and a tie for Rick. Rick and 97 Hove are my favorite songs. It's a tie. I
mean, that would be so epic, man, to keep the same beat. And you know what I'm saying? Benny come with some updated rhymes. And Jay just comes in there.
He's got Primo there. He's already redoing 10 Crack Commandments, so it would be awesome. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's, like, I told you, I'm cool if this album is literally, like, 6 tracks Alchemist, 5 tracks Derringer, 2 tracks Primo. Totally okay with that. Stop right there.
Nas the Goat says, do y'all...
Because he sounds great on those guys' beats.
Nas the Great says, do y'all think there's going to be a Nas feature on Tana Talk 4? No.
Hey, go ahead and go for it. I was actually wondering why Pusha T and Nas haven't worked together yet, especially with both of them having a relationship with Ye. And during that time, even when they was all recording around the same time. I was thinking about that today.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. That would be something that would be nice to see at this point, too, don't you think?
I think so, too. But we already know that Jay is going to be on Pusha's album, and it's rare that somebody's able to get both of them for their album. So
Kanye does.
But Kanye's the bridge. He's something else.
But Kanye's involved in this Pusha project, is he not?
That's true. He is.
There you have
it.
Yeah. There you have it.
Kanye is a hip hop legend.
I mean, remember, don't be surprised if I said it first, though. Don't be surprised if, like, the Pusha T album comes out and it's got a Nas feature.
Well, you know what, again, I don't expect that, but I think that is a very bold prediction. Like I said, my prediction is Jay is going to be on Tana Talk 4.
Yeah.
I think Benny already expressed that he wants a Rockefeller chain. And this is before Dame Dash said if he doesn't give you a Rockefeller chain, it's not official. But whatever. So he wants a Rockefeller chain. And I think this is an opportunity for it. Isn't he already managed by Roc Nation?
Yes, or unless something changed with the whole
like
Def Jam signing. Unless something changed with the Def Jam signing in terms of like management affiliation changing hands in some sort of. I don't know how these deals.
So there's vested interest in there, right, for Jay, and it would be a huge moment for Benny's career and for their client if they can insert Jay-Z into this 97 Hove on Tana Talk 4. I mean, if this doesn't happen, I think this is a huge opportunity missed all around.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Let me ask you something real quick, though, because we were talking about this in the barbershop, and the owner of the barbershop, E, man, he is a huge Jay-Z fan, and he was just arguing me down that Jay is still better than Nas, and I'm like, well, honestly, the last 3 efforts have forged Nas ahead of Jay. And I asked him, I was like, do you think Jay's going to make another album? He said no. And I was like, well, if that's the case, then Nas is just ahead of Jay.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, though. Do you think Jay's going to make another album?
Yes. He's too competitive.
I think so, too.
He of all the all-time great MCs, is probably the most competitive.
He's the most competitive MC ever. How about that?
Possibly.
And it's not even close. Big was very competitive too. But
also too, let's understand something. This was a guy that didn't release his first solo album until he was almost 27 years old. Go look at, and that's why I bring up the all-time great MCs. Go look at all the other all-time great MCs. DMX is the only other person that you'll find coming out with the album that late. And niggas knew who X was before they knew who Jay was, even though Jay got here first.
No. X was his name was ringing for a lot of things, but mostly the rap. Where Jay was, heavy in the street for, multiple things.
Yeah.
I think that there was never, and I say this respectfully, and it's just history. Anybody could look this up. I don't say this slighting Jay in any sense, but I think that DMX never had an identity problem. He, you know what I'm saying? Like DMX was DMX in '92. And when you listen to some of his old records, it's amazing how dope these records are. He never had to really find his style. Like his style was what it was. There's some really, really early stuff where he's like a kid and he's rapping a certain way. But by the time he found his flow and his way of making music, there was no like original.
Even in the early stuff, you can hear it though, Mike.
Yeah, there was no like original flavor stage for him. Like DMX hit the ground running. His problem was he just couldn't stay out of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only reason why labels weren't signing him. Like
even when he found himself and found his voice. What do you mean?
Yeah,
it's the only problem. What do you mean? It's the only problem. Problem is that he couldn't stay out of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the only reason why labels weren't taking a chance on him early, because I'm listening to some of that early stuff. I'm like, man, this stuff is phenomenal. Got to make a move. The original one is fire.
He's nice. Yeah. He's nice. He's been nice.
Yeah, he's been nice.
That's why when he's like, yo, I beat Jay in that battle, it's like, I wouldn't believe that if almost anybody else said that but you in that year, given those circumstances. And like, no, I believe that. If he says that, I believe that. But I wouldn't believe that about anybody else around Jay around that time out there in the streets except X.
Well, that's the thing with X.
Like that.
That's the thing with X and Nas. Like, as soon as they hit the mic, they were great.
Period.
Yeah, Jay just got better and better and better. And by the time we heard him on Reasonable Doubt, that was like 5 years of work of getting his style together.
His best bar to me, like that really speaks to who he is actually on Hard Knock Life when he says, as far as progress, you'll be hard pressed to find another rapper hot as me. It's the realest shit he's ever said. Nobody's ever progressed the way that he's progressed.
Gave you prophecy on my first joint.
Yeah, nobody's progressed like that because he.
And that's the thing too. Even
you have to understand when In My Lifetime comes out, he's not even like a top 50 rapper. Like 2 years later, it's like that guy's top 5, top 10 in 1996.
No, that's real, and it's like even as dope as Reasonable Doubt is, it was overlooked vastly, from a national level when it came out. And that's why he said on Hard Knock Life, I gave you prophecy on my first joint, you're all lamed out. Didn't really appreciate it till the second one came out, I
don't like that he said that because what he had to understand is around the time what Reasonable Doubt did numbers-wise was what the Purple Tape actually did the summer before, which is what Talk Like That would get you around that time, which is about 700, 800,000 units. You know what I'm saying?
He had one. I think he had one legit hit on there, though. To be perfectly honest, I mean, I remember. What I'm
saying. Just like the Purple Tape got one legit hit on there.
Yeah, I remember.
They don't have legit hits.
I remember feeling it was getting played like in the late night in radio down here at least. But I remember Can't Knock the Hustle, being on MTV. And I know that's probably mostly because of Mary.
No, Can't Knock the Hustle was getting played in Charlotte.
Yeah.
It was getting.
I remember Can't Knock the Hustle getting played. I don't know if I could say it was a hit per se, but it was one of those songs that was getting played.
He was getting love, but it wasn't crazy.
Yeah, Ain't No Nigga was the hit.
Ain't No Nigga was the hit. But I mean, just for me, it's like that's what I'm saying. But street albums like that weren't going like multi-platinum like that. Like Ready to Die went 1.5, and they had to make Juicy and Big Papa and a One More Chance remix.
Yeah, no.
Illmatic didn't go gold the first year. Cool G Rap never went gold.
What would you say is Illmatic's biggest hit?
The World Is Yours.
Really? Is it?
Wouldn't you say so?
I thought It Ain't Hard to Tell, but I mean...
I think for nostalgia purposes, when people hear It Ain't Hard to Tell, it's a lot of people's first time hearing Nas, so it's like, oh my God. But The World Is Yours was a bigger record, if memory serves. And rightfully so, because I think it's a better song.
Zombie TV said, whoa, the Purple Tape was laced. Yeah, it was,
Not
but
kids. Glaciers of Ice isn't like no. Glaciers of Ice wasn't getting played on the radio, fam. I love Glaciers of Ice. One of the best beats ever. Wasn't getting played on the
Purple
radio.
Tape is
Criminal
your
Intercourse
top. Is
wasn't
in
getting
your
played on
top
the
three.
radio.
Purple Tape.
Criminology wasn't getting played on the radio. Incarcerated Scarfaces was not getting played on the radio.
It wasn't. Ice Cream was the only song on
Ice
that
Cream was the
album
only
that was
record
getting
that
played.
you heard. And that was mostly Meth, because Meth had I'll Be There For You and How High out around the same time. So he was just high. If Meth's not even on that hook, like if it's the same hook and there's another rapper from Wu-Tang Clan singing that hook, it's not even the same.
Shout out to Kendall Outlaw with the super chat. He said Jay tried to chase the 80s samples and style on Volume 1. The Bad Boy was doing in 97. Yeah, I mean, he recorded that in Bad Boy. And I think that was executive produced by Puff, right?
What? Which one?
Volume 1 was executive produced by Puff.
It's very problematic. Still sounds great outside of those 4 records I keep bringing up.
Yeah,
just those 4 records.
So, yeah, I think that one thing that Jay really did sound great under when he was chasing those 80s samples. I love him with the Angela Winbush samples. That's really
Love the Dough is... Whew.
Yeah.
That's
Imaginary Players, you know what I'm saying? Like...
That's what I'm talking about.
I'll Be on Foxy.
This one I'm talking about when he's got flows. I Love the Dough. Miraculous. Pockets stay full. Niggas spick the bull because we mad at Thor. Snatch the P89s that we clap in the drawers. And like that's, it's like, who else talk like that?
No, you're right. Very distinctive. And you know what? I
Jay's
think
the author of a lot of flows. That's what I mean. It's like, yeah, he's got flows. So when you talk about Nas flow as a 10, it's like, no.
Let's be clear, because I don't want anybody to think that we're slandering the Purple Tape. Purple Tape's in your top 3, right?
Number 3.
Yeah, I think it's in my top 5.
It's only slightly behind Aquemini, in my opinion. Aquemini has Liberation and Spody Odie Dopalicious, and there you have the difference.
Yeah, so you got Illmatic, Aquemini, and the Purple Tape.
Correct. Doggy Style.
I was going to say, I might put Doggy Style ahead of the Purple Tape, but I don't know. Purple Tape is just so lyrical.
Lyrically, I think the Purple Tape is probably the best album ever, lyrically speaking.
It might be the most lyrical album ever in hip-hop. I think either that or Wu-Tang Forever. I think Wu-Tang Forever is lyrically dense because it's so much lyricism on there that you get lost in it. But when it comes to the Purple Tape, the performances on there,
I'm saying
it's crazy. Jizza came with his A game. Inspector came with his A game. RZA came with his A game. Nas came with his A game. Method Man came with his A game. You God came with his A game.
You want to know what it is? It's like I don't know how. I mean, Mike, when I used to live on the east side down here when I was a kid, it's like, you know, the kids from the neighborhood, we would go to other neighborhoods and we would play ball and we would play football. And we would fight, you know, sometimes we get our ass whooped, sometimes we whoop ass. But there was very rare that it was like that day where we went into somebody's neighborhood and everybody was like on point and we really just whooped ass and talked shit like the whole time. Mm-hmm. That's what the Purple Tape is. Like the Purple Tape is like everybody showed up and like whooped ass. It was like everybody on point today. It's like, everybody on point. High five, motherfucker. Yeah, it's like that. It's special like that. I've never seen anything like it actually in the history of rap.
Master Killer's A game.
It's Master Killer's A game. It's You God's A game. It's Jizza's A game. It's Deck A game. It's Meth's A hook game, and then his A verse game.
Yeah, it's insane.
Like what? Hold on. Like it's got Nas's A plus game on there. You got Nas's A plus game on there. Lyrically,
I have no idea who has the best verse on Guillotine. I have no idea.
You want to know what? Lyrically speaking, is still the genius, but where Deck is on that first verse, it's the alliteration of it from an actual fundamental rhyme standpoint. It's that alliteration. Poisonous paragraph.
Smash the phonograph
in half. It'd be the Inspector Deck on a warpath.
That's some crazy shit.
It's crazy. That's
shout out to Gio with the super chat. He says, "Lemon character lifting." Hold on. What are we doing here? Hold on. Lemon character lifting baby Lemon in the air and congratulating him. Okay. We got another super chat too. We got a couple of more to get to, and then I want to get to that verse. LB216 says, another episode y'all said Jay stole people's flow. He did. Both can be true. Both can be true. He does have an original. We'll get to that. Hold on. Let me get to this last super chat and then we'll address that real quick. The L Web says the Purple Tape is the most cinematic, but ATLians is the most lyrical. That I disagree with, and I'm a huge Outkast fan.
Gigantic. And no.
Jay does have his own original flows, but he also has flows that are borrowed from others. Both can be true.
Both can be true, but he's the author of more original flows than borrower of flows, and we're giving him props. Like, can I go ahead and say this? And you said this behind the scenes, and I'm going to tell you all exactly what Mike said for Mike. Mike said when Jay fans see that Jay is not number one at anything, they say people are hating, and it's the only time I ever see that. It's like he can't be number one all the time at everything, guys. It's okay. Sensitive thugs, y'all all need hugs.
DeCarlo says, Mike, I want to know why y'all hold the Kumina so high. I have the Infamous, the Chronic, and Ready to Die above that.
No, I mean, okay, so if...
Do you want me to... I can go in on that. I've written an article before saying that I argue the notion that Kumina, pound for pound, could be the greatest hip-hop album ever.
The Infamous, the Chronic, Ready to Die.
This is what I will say.
We have comparable...
The Infamous, the Chronic... All right, first of all, let me start with the Infamous and the Chronic. And similar to our Pusha T conversation about Common, when you talk about the array of subject matter and just the level of consciousness, musicality, creativity, and just being able to take on a bunch of different topics and notions, you have verses like Andre's verse, the first verse on Aquemini, it sets it apart from, the Bitches Ain't Shit albums. I'm sorry, it just does. You know what I'm saying? When you got Spodio Dopalicious and, you got notions like Can't Gamble feeding baby on that dope money might not always be sufficient. Real life shit. Or, or Big Boy on Slump talking about the 3 strikes laws. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different. And when you do that in a collective where the music and everything comes from a whole different place, live music, if you will, very limited sampling as well, if we want to talk about originality and creativity. And the bars are there and the subject matter is there, the experience is there from 23-year-olds. I mean, it's a different level. And I respect the Infamous. I love the Infamous. But they're not touching on these things. They're not. They don't have a Liberation on there. These are X Factor records.
Now, I get what he's saying, because and I can tell because some of the albums he named is some of my favorite stuff.
Me too.
These are top 10-ish rap albums for me, like all of them. And they probably all would fall in my personal top 10. The Infamous, the Chronic, and Ready to Die have more wow factor and home run records than Aquemini. And that is why all those records that you name are easily, like all of those albums that you name are top 20 rap albums, easy. And it's not even a question or a discussion. And in my opinion, all of those are top 15 rap albums all time, easy, no question, no discussion. None of those albums end to end are what Aquemini is in terms of the diverse array of hip hop that you hear performed at a high level from beginning to end. And Mike is right. And he's saying, when he's saying the whole bitches ain't shit line, what he's really trying to say is like the subject matter on Aquemini is everywhere, is real, is relevant, is relative, and done at an extremely high level. And so y'all can't sit up there and say Pusha T talks too much dope rap and then say that the Infamous is better than the Aquemini, and say the Chronic is better than Aquemini, and say Ready to Die and Reasonable Doubt are better than Aquemini, because for that reason is why I have the Purple Tape behind Aquemini, because I actually listen to the Purple Tape more than I listen to Aquemini, but my objective mind tells me that what they pulled off on Aquemini is tougher to pull off.
This is why we love Illmatic so much. This is why we love Illmatic so much as well. Like the density of the content and the high level that it's done at, it takes you places.
It does. They bring you into their world. Like Aquemini is their world.
Yeah. Zombie TV has a super chat. Shout out to Zombie TV. He said, y'all name the hits off the Purple Tape. Radio as slow as usual. We know more than them. I dig the convo as usual. Salute, fellas. Yes, yes. You know, I was one of those people back in the day where I was hoping that radio would catch up to the listener. I was listening to the radio so I could hear shadow boxing on the radio, and I would never hear it. It might come on like once a week. I was watching TV so I could hear Bobby Digital's Holocaust or see that video.
I was about to say,
Never
Mike,
really
do you know
got
how many?
played.
Do you know how many days I wish they just would have played "Ice Water" on the radio, the song before "Glaciers of Ice" on the purple tape?
I remember
That
hearing "Land of the Heartless" one time on the radio, and it was late at night, and I thought it was going to continue, and I never heard it on the radio again.
beats are crazy.
I remember calling the radio when you used to think that if you called a radio station and request something, they'll play it. I remember calling them
How about
requesting the B side, the Brad featuring Biggie, and they
Yeah.
said they were gonna play it, and they never played it.
So hey, you want to know what? And here's what it is. Remember when I was doing the album ratings and I'd be like beats, rhymes, and life, based on the Tribe Called Quest album. The beats and the rhymes on the purple tape are better than the beats and the rhymes on the Quemini, but they're not so far ahead, and it's the life part, Mike. That's the thing with the Quemini.
Yeah,
It's the life part. Even down to and this is what I mean, there's a piece of our blackness even on that album with Rosa Parks, and even what they went through from taking that song and naming it Rosa Parks, and even the content and the subject matter on that song, and eventually even what, like Dre's verse on there is now official prophecy.
yes. I mean, listen, the brilliance of his approach on the Rosa Parks record. Like, I know it's one of those songs that we heard on the radio a million times, so we don't really look at it like that. But the way he approached that song, because, you know, I kind of took the song as, okay, it's our third album, we're back, kind of like what Goody Mob did with, you know, People Don't Dance No More.
Mhm.
But Andre took the time to correlate him talking to an elderly woman on the back of the bus, almost a Rosa Parks figure, and talking about his own mortality in music, hip hop, rap specifically, and not wanting to be. And I've always thought that, you know, because at the time, Tribe Called Quest, I think they dropped the Love Movement, their final album, the same day. Was it? Yeah, it was the same day Akumanai dropped.
Yes.
And so
In
when
volume
he's
two.
talking about, you know, his favorite group ain't coming with it, but I'm with you because you're probably going through it. He's talking about Tribe in my mind.
Tribe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. It's like, oh, that's a Tribe shot, straight up and down.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
you're
he's
probably
just being
going through it
honest.
anyway,
You know what I'm
but
saying? He's saying that.
I went out and bought it because I thought it would be jamming. Right.
And he's like, the last thing he wants to hear is people saying that an Outkast album is weak. He
So
would
hold on.
rather walk away than
Right.
go out there and make an uninspired effort.
So
And
I
he's
think,
telling us this in Rosa Parks.
so I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that's him hearing beats, rhymes, and life and not being impressed, correct?
I think so. Because
And
Beats,
he-
Rhymes, and Life is, I mean, it's an okay album, and I like it. I like some things on it, but it's not the Tribe Called Quest that we know.
Oh, the level is down a noticeable notch.
Yeah.
The level is down a noticeable notch
Yeah.
from where the previous efforts are. But that's what he means. He can tell because he's a part of the industry. And so when you're hearing Fife on, once again, 4 albums deep for Quest, but still be paying dues, that's what Andre's speaking to. You know, Andre's in the game now. He's seeing his idols under pressure, under stress. You know what I'm saying?
And he's
under
starting to
duress.
feel it too.
And he's seeing the music be affected by it.
Mm-hmm. He's affected by it. Because even
Duh.
after Akumanai, when
ATLians. I mean, you can tell that he's affected by it on ATLians. So
yeah. Because even after Akumanai, when he jumps on, well, it's a Dungeon Family song, but he's on Watch for the Hook. And that whole trying to outdo the last verse that I birthed that is my curse. This is directly after y'all just dropped the 5 mic effort. And again, these are things that he said in the music and he said verbally in recent time. Like, he always felt like they were behind the 8 ball and they had something to prove. And the more successful they got, he felt like they had less to prove. And the less they had to prove, the less he felt the necessity to make music. Like,
I hate that he feels that way because. Well,
Because think about it. When they came out of Atlanta, came out the gate, they were coming out of the South. So boom, that's already something that you're going against. Second album,
no, I get.
you're using the momentum from the Source Awards and how you felt in New York when you got booed for Best New Artist.
So hold on. So let's get this straight. Like Southern Playalistic is the gateway.
Mm-hmm.
The Aliens is the respect.
Yeah.
Aquemini is the cement.
You know,
he really don't rap, and he really don't rap regularly after that.
He doesn't. He doesn't. That was my critique of Stankonia when it came out. Like, I wasn't expecting the album to even be on a Aquemini level, but I wasn't expecting that he wasn't gonna rap much. And when I say much, and I know it doesn't mean a lot, it doesn't feel like that now because we never hear him rap, but we're talking about being used to him rapping on every song damn near. He might take a song or two off, but any song he's on, he's going to rap on, you know?
When you're saying that it can't be on a Aquemini level, well, it's like, well, we really don't know that because part of the problem with Stankonia and why it's not on a Aquemini level or even AT Aliens or Southern Playalistic level, in my humble estimation, is because what? Because he doesn't rap on there enough. It is literally, there are two problems with that album. It's too many skits and he's not rapping enough. Cut the skits, put the MC back on. Next.
I think they did that on purpose. Like, it felt like, well, I think he said this too. It might have been the time that it came out. But this was kind of like a fuck you to hip hop because things start sounding similar and the game wasn't interesting. So they just wanted to do something crazy.
No, they did.
And they did. And it was a success. And then it's like, okay, well, after the experiment goes well, what do you do next?
I mean, I'm not saying just rap. I mean, you want to know what? Oh,
he's not inspired to rap.
Well, hold on. Because this is how great he is. Do you understand that 3 to 4 more verses from him on Stankonia probably changed the whole trajectory and legacy of that album?
Yo.
3 to 4 verses. We're talking about a song worth of material. Tupac used to do 4-verse songs, Mike.
Yo.
Knock Off the Show by Tupac. 4-verse song. One of my favorite Tupac songs. 4 verses.
I want to get to this comment because I said this earlier this week. Our listeners are actually in our brains, man. Soulmatic said he was still Andre Benjamin, not yet 3000. And that's funny. I don't think a lot of people really understand Andre 3000 didn't come about until Stankonia. That name, like on the album credits, his name used to be Andre Benjamin. He did not have a rap name until Stankonia. And he didn't stop rapping until he had a rap name, as wild as that sounds. You know what I mean? Because Andre Benjamin was spitting.
Crazy.
Andre Benjamin wasn't out here singing that much. He gave us a little taste on the Aquemini with Synthesizer, and they both did that Liberation thing. But yeah, Andre Benjamin was the rapper. Andre 3000 is the artist, quote unquote. So I think that's an interesting dynamic. So when people want to put their top rappers, you need to put Andre Benjamin and not Andre 3000.
It would have been funny also to see him as a solo MC because you know the way these circles work, these dudes all hear each other's beats. It would have been funny to hear if like some of those beats that like floated like, Common and Mos and Talib and Thought's way would have ever floated Dre's way, like With a Light or a Mrs. Fat Booty or Get By or even a Sixth Sense ever like crossed his hands. You get what I'm saying?
I don't know because, someone's made, and me and Ron used to debate about this because we went to high school together. And his argument back then was the fact that, well, we don't know because Andre don't rap over Premier tracks. All these people, everything that they rhyme on is pretty much in-house.
I'm not saying an MC has to rhyme over a Premier track before their career is over.
But we would like to hear what it sounds like. I mean, because
it's just like one of those Rap 101 things at this point. It's like we want to hear you on a Primo beat. We did it to Snoop.
Yeah.
We did it to Snoop. We're like, well, no. We want to hear you on a Primo beat, though. Go ahead.
Shout out to Brian with the super chat.
When you wrote the Chronic.
Shout out to Brian with the super chat. He says, Hit making should be a grade on the report card. Commercial success matters. Also, grades on what separates the high level artists from such as skill, technical
Commercial
ability,
success matters.
creativity, flow, and rhyming. So, go
I
ahead.
mean, if commercial success matters, then all the white people are gonna get tens because they always sell because they're white. So it's like,
I guess consistent hit making ability. I understand what he's saying. I think that hit making ability, maybe not a lot. Because, all right, let's look at it like this. Slick Rick made hits. Slick Rick made classics. But maybe that can be duped into or coupled into making
I'm about to say, he's
classic
got more.
songs.
Like Slick Rick has more classics than he has like hits in
Right.
terms of stuff that he's released.
Because Mona Lisa is one of those songs that on a technical level wasn't a hit on radio, but it was a street hit.
It's
So
classic.
what about street hits?
I love street hits. Shook Ones Part 2, Life's a Bitch, Brooklyn's Finest.
Criminal Minded.
I'm writing down KRS's catalog right now because we're about to have a little conversation. I mean, I'm doing a little catalog run right now. That's
Okay.
what I've been doing.
Yeah, because we're gonna talk about our
our.
we're gonna talk about our MC rating and what you guys thought about that. We kind of went through some individual comments, and we want to highlight those comments and kind of just basically address them because y'all made some really good points. But before we do that, I do want to say, man, I think that the best song I heard today, new song I heard today, was from Joey Badass.
I agree.
And I want to give Joey his props because I know we all been following Joey since he was in high school, man. And to actually see an MC kind of like grow like right in front of your eyes and develop as a dope MC I think he's a really good songwriter now. That's what I got from Head High. After hearing Head High today, first of all, I love the pairing with him and Static Selector. I think Static Selector is another producer who doesn't get as much props as he should because he's super consistent. Everything Static Selector, for the most part, puts together is quality production. It reminds me of he doesn't sound like Ninth Wonder, but you know how it was when Ninth Wonder was clicking? It was like anything you knew you were going to get from Ninth Wonder, you knew it was going to be consistent.
3.
And so I love the pairing with him and Joey Badass, or Joey Badass and Static Selector. But Joey Badass's hook game is on 10 right now, at least with this song. It's reflective. I love the perspective. I love everything about this song. And I think that this song, or a song like this gets me excited to hear a new Joey Badass album. That's the album that I think that we can I think that could be a sleeper in the year. I'll say that. And I think that could possibly be an album of the year contender if it sounds anything like this Head High song.
Okay, so here's what my thought was after hearing the song too. I was like, well, if he keeps it up and he makes an album like this is how somebody comes and steals album of the year in a heavy year where you expect the heavy hitter to make the album of the year.
He can do it, man.
Yeah, he can do it. So people need to be looking out for Joey right now. I'm excited for him. This record made me excited for him because it was the type of record that made me say, oh, he's arrived and he's capable of making album of the year.
I put it on repeat, man. And the thing is, originally, like I have this thing about, I love when people like Joey, even, what's his name? Astro Kid, thought he was super dope at a very young age. And even Corday, you could tell that they're really 90s influence.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the tough part of it in their generation, it's kind of difficult to make that your own because you're trying to sell your generation on a previous generation. And I feel like this song doesn't sound like any of that. This just sounds like Joey Badass made a dope record. It doesn't sound like this should fit in the 90s. It don't sound like it just sounds like a dope record. And I know we've spoken on similar things when it comes to Big Crit. I feel like Joey has found his sound, or at least I hope he has. And yeah, I'm excited for him, and I'm excited for, the upcoming album. I'm looking forward to hearing more from Joey. I start thinking about his appearance on Pray for Paris. I'm like, yeah, man, Joey's ready, man. He did the hook on that.
4 minutes, the stuff that he did on the Static album with Nas.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been talking about him like low key, you and me. Mike, I mean, we've had probably more low key conversations about Joey behind the scenes the last couple of years than anybody. Every time we talk about him, we end up going into places where it's like, yo, I really like this guy. I really enjoy what he's doing. I like the way that he's doing it. I like that he's moving at his own pace. Every time I hear him, it's something solid. I hear the growth. I hear the development. And
And
I
his
was
new and his
genuinely
acting career too. I'm like, man, I think Joey's a star, man.
right. That's what I mean. I'm genuinely excited for him. This was a dope record. I enjoyed it too, Mike.
And something you said offline, I think this is a great time for him too. Like this is a great time for him to
The
drop some of
climate
his
for him, yes.
seminal. Yeah, like the
Because
climate right
know,
now
he
is open for him to drop his seminal album.
well, he fits so many bills right now because guess what? Joey is a really dope MC, so he fits an MC's climate right now.
Right.
He's a dope MC. We just heard him. That's why I was referencing the Static Select record with Nas. It's like, no, he can go back and forth with Nas like
He's
right
proven
now.
that he can rhyme with anybody.
Joey can rhyme, so he fits in the rhymer's climate.
Yeah.
But he also fits in the younger generations and cooler climate as well. And he's versatile like that, where it's like, well, he fits in the younger climate, he fits in the lyrical climate, and he kind of fits in that finding my own niche in this kind of like Vince Staple is kind of right now too, kind of climate. He checks a lot of marks. He checks a lot of boxes. You know what I'm saying? So I just want him to hit his mark.
Yeah, I'm excited for the new album so we can talk about him more because I think that he deserves more conversation, but we need that one seminal piece of work. I see Sci-Hi being mentioned in the comments.
As far as what?
He said, Damian Harris says Sci-Hi is the best lyricist from the South. I like Sci-Hi a lot. I remember, again, I don't want to sit here and be name dropping or whatnot, but again, back in my time in radio, one of my good friends who was interning with me back then, Tech, I went over to their dorm, and he was going to Clark Atlanta at the time, and these guys had a whole production setup. Like they used their refund money from college to get studio equipment, and these guys had beats, man. And we just never really got a chance to work together in the way that we wanted to. But I've always followed what they were doing, and so I saw that Sci-Hi was dropping. What was it? Black History. What was it called? The Black History Project. And I remember Kanye was the executive producer, and then I saw Tech had produced a lot of stuff on there. So I was like, I'm gonna check this out, just because the homies on there, whatever. Great project, and I think that's one of the more slept-on projects. Period. I know people like what is it? No Dope on Sundays. I like that project too, but Black History is the one. He had some great records on that shit. I was just listening to Be Great the other day. I can only find it on SoundCloud. Where he starts off with that Tupac clip. That shit is hard, bro. Like I used to start my mornings off with that.
But what say you about the sentiment that says he's the best lyricist?
I understand the sentiment because he's more of
Atlanta or South?
They said the South. I think that his approach to putting together rhymes is not an approach that many Southern MCs take on. So if you're somebody who's looking for, well, I wasn't even gonna say East Coast lyricist, but if you're one of those people who look for lyricism like a Crooked Eye type of approach, because I would say that Sci-Hi is more of a Crooked Eye for the South, like Crooked Eye is for the West.
I think he's better than Crooked Eye.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Bias? Is that regional bias?
I don't know, man. Crooked Eye is tough. I remember seeing Crooked Eye.
No, I'm asking questions because it's like I'm asking if that's regional.
I like Sci-Hi's music better.
Okay, me
but
too.
As a straight up lyricist, I've heard
MC? Ooh,
I've heard Crooked Eye go crazy, but I think that's a good pairing.
Go crazy. No, I heard Crooked Eye go crazy.
Yeah. But I wish we could get more Sci-Hi projects.
I don't think either one of them are better than Andre or CeeLo, but I mean,
again, I think that delves into that whole okay, we need diverse content, or we need diverse
No, they said lyricists. No, they said lyricists. You said Sci is the best lyricist.
We just talking about putting words together. But see, that's part of lyricism, though, because we always hear that too when people talk about Tupac saying he wasn't a
But it gotta
lyricist.
stay. Yeah, hold on. So can I say something right quick? I
Go
don't
ahead.
mean to cut you off, Mike, but it gotta stay with you when you spit that shit too.
Exactly. That's a
It
part
means
of
nothing
lyricism.
if it means nothing if it's super lyrical. If it don't stay, like that's why CeeLo's verse on "Get Up, Get Out" is so important and so impactful. It's not super lyrical. It's probably not even one of his 20 most lyrical verses. But the
It
way he
sticks
put
with
it,
you.
I don't recall ever graduating at all. Sometimes I feel like I'm just a disappointment to y'all.
Yeah.
It's different.
It's
It's
different.
with you. It got rhyme of the month in the source
It's a
too.
great verse. I mean, I've heard.
So Sci-Hi don't be having that. And so when you're saying that he's the best lyricist, it's like, nah, it gotta stay with you, fam.
He might be the best rapidy rap rapper in the
like
South.
that. So there we go with this technical rhyming stuff again.
I mean,
That what
I
you're
think
saying?
that's where people are coming from when they say that.
Right. But okay, so how about this? Technically, he sounds better than Kanye, Pusha T, and Jay-Z on So Appalled, but all of them have way more memorable moments than him on there.
Shout out to Jordan House for the super chat. He said, "Have y'all heard the December remix by Silk Money featuring Andre? If so, what do y'all think of that verse?" Have
Is that
not. Andre Benjamin, Andre 3000. What do you
So-
think of it, Jordan House? We're gonna take a look
Oh,
into it.
what did he did a verse on Silk Sonic?
I guess
Who?
so.
Is that the
No,
Anderson
no,
Paak
was it? No, it's a
Mars?
remix, right? Is it
What he doing?
Silk Money?
Is that one of Big Boy's song on Big Boy's album?
Oh my goodness, we're not gonna go there, are we? Man with the super chat. He says Snoop does have a primo track, and one only in 2002's "Pay the Cost to Be the Boss."
No,
Keep
I know
doing what
that. No,
y'all
I was
doing. I
saying
love the show.
before that happened. The first time is actually on Jermaine Dupri's album, Life in 1472.
That's true. I forgot that Primo did that. Whenever I hear that
that's
song,
actually the first time. So like, if we're gonna talk it, like
listen. I love Snoop's verse on there. The
it's
job
great.
was
No, that was the
dangerous
first time
when
I heard
took
that we had heard it. But what I'm saying is, we've been asking for that moment. It's like, oh, it's Primo and Snoop. It's like, oh, how is that gonna sound?
But yeah,
And it
man,
came from JD.
I'm looking forward to Joey Badass and what he's about to bring with this next coming album. Hopefully, it doesn't take too long. I know he has a great acting career that's going on, and usually that takes away from the music, but he sounds like he's still very deep in the music and has a whole lot to prove in the music, and I think that's going to be great for hip hop. You ready to move on to what people had to say about our MC rating?
We might as well.
Okay. Well, we're going to be rating MCs, and we started it off on Wednesday. We started with, what MCs did we do Wednesday? We did Rakim, KRS-One, Nas, Method Man, Jay-Z, Pusha T, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Conway, and Lil Wayne. And we rated them based on lyrics, voice, delivery, storytelling, catalog of albums, collaborations, longevity of records, longevity of career, two different things, battle tested, legacy, live performance, content, intangibles, hook game, versatility, and basically gave them an overall score on those 15
Can we pause for a second?
categories. Yes.
For the person that was saying earlier about the hit making and the hit records, that's why I put longevity of records down, because that accounts for the hit records and the street records all the same. It don't matter how it resonates as long as it resonates. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, Mike, how many times have you come on here and talked about silent murder?
No, that's real. Let me ban some of these.
Damn, if I rule the world, when you're talking about it was written, Mike, you don't be talking about if I rule the world.
No. You know,
Right.
we got some spam in here. We might have to get some moderators, man. We got
Get some moderators officially. Man.
All right. Spam is back, and spam is gone for now. Whoever wants to be a moderator, let us know, and we'll and y'all can be taking care of that while we're doing the show, so it's not an interruption. But yes, I think that the longevity of records kind of works with the hits and the street hits, and it lets you know what has legs and what doesn't. Like, I'm just gonna be honest, guys. I hate to bring this person up again, but if you look at the charts, The Real Slim Shady was a hit record. But does anybody play that in 2022?
That's why longevity matters.
So, let's just
So
be honest. Okay.
Hold on. So let's talk about somebody real quick who had a very brief career, but how their records have lived. Hey, Mike, we still, on this show, we talk about Juicy, The What, One More Chance, Everyday Struggle. That's Ready to Die. That's 1994. Like, some of those songs never even got really released as singles, and we talk about them.
No, that's real. I mean, same thing with Slick Rick, man.
Same thing with
Slick Rick. Because if we keep it real, Slick Rick had a very... Yeah.
I don't even know if Mona Lisa was a top 40 rap record. Like, you know what I mean? It probably was. I mean, a top 40 like a hip-hop.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure the show probably didn't even chart like that. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm sure that, Hey Young World got bigger over time.
Hey Young World was not a big hit.
That whole Guess Who's Back, how many times has that been used? I want to hear Hey Young World now.
Right.
That's a beautiful
record. We were kids when that record dropped.
All right. Well, we're going to also let you guys know who we're going to be doing next Wednesday and putting through this chart. But we went through some of the comments, and some of the comments were interesting. I want to start off with this comment where someone said, J. Cole more versatile than Kendrick. Let me go to the chart. And I don't know if you and I gave the same rating, but this is what my original one was. Kendrick
I'm trying to pull my chart up right now.
Okay, Kendrick on versatility got 8, and Cole got 9. So I think that you might have said 7, because I think that's what they were going with, where Kendrick having a 7 in versatility and Cole having a 9.
Hold on, let me.
I think Cole's more versatile. I'm just going to speak my piece on it because I still gave him a higher rating. I think Cole's more versatile than Kendrick in the sense where he's shown us through features over time now. We're not just talking about in a certain era that he can sound comfortable on anything. He's shown us even in recent time he can get on a record with Benny. He can get on a record with 21 Savage.
Oh, we're talking versatility.
Yes, we're talking versatility.
Okay, so I gave Kendrick an 8, and I gave Cole a 9. Yeah, Kendrick, Cole 9. Yeah, damn right. All right.
People had a problem with that.
Hold on. This is what I'm saying. No. So let's.
You want to get all the Kendrick stuff out there because Kendrick's on here a lot. Kendrick fans had a problem with all of it.
No, I love live, like I like the live action and stuff. So let's go to an album where they are on the same album together, but it's not their album. And how do they come off on that album? You know what album I'm talking about, Mike?
You talking about The Game?
Yep.
Jesus Piece?
Yep. That's where we're talking about the versatility is Cole instead of Kendrick, because Kendrick shows up and he gives you a verse, but don't nobody really remember Kendrick's verse on Jesus Piece like that. What's the name of the song that Kendrick's on Jesus Piece?
It's a good question.
People don't even remember the name of the song.
The one I remember was The City.
Right.
But that's on the Red album.
Right. That's what I'm saying. When they're on the same album together, what's the name of the song?
You got me over here looking it up.
Right. Because you have to look it up.
See No Evil. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't remember See No Evil. See No Evil's not no banger on Jesus Piece. Pray with Game and J. Cole is.
The answer says Cole is not more versatile than Kendrick. Well, okay. I'm glad we have these comments in the
hold on. See, they're thinking about how Kendrick.
Tell me why.
They're thinking about how Kendrick has performed on these 4 solo rap albums. They're not looking at the totality of his rap performance.
Are those albums versatile? To be honest, he works in his chamber. If we be really honest.
There we go.
The versatility lies in the fact that Cole can be on his own stuff. He could be on, premiere track. He could do whatever. You know what I'm saying? The diversity of production. But when we listen to a Kendrick project, it's within the vein of Kendrick.
Right.
He does it very well. He does versatility well within himself. I want to know why y'all think he's so versatile.
This is what I'm talking about, too. Let's go to another Game album. Let's go to the documentary, too. How does documentary 2 start off? On Me with Kendrick, right?
Mm-hmm.
We be up on here talking about Dollar in the Dream with Ab-Soul all the time, don't we, Mike?
We do. The answer says y'all just hate Kendrick, man. We get it.
We
No, we
don't hate
don't.
Kendrick. You want to know
We're
what? That's why I've been
Kendrick
writing all
fans.
these albums down. We about to unpack it because y'all be rocking with Kendrick's catalog like this. I'm about to break down some about Kendrick's
You ready
catalog.
to unpack Kendrick's catalog?
Look, I mean, since we need to go ahead and do it because people think that we're hating and we're really just calling a spade, and we're really just not lost in the moment. And the moment that we're not lost in is already passed. Anyway.
I was going to say the moment's over.
No. What we about to do live, first of all, I want to let you all know that while y'all keep talking about Kendrick catalog, The Game and Common have a better catalog than Kendrick.
Whoo! Okay.
While y'all keep talking, while y'all talking about Kendrick catalog, we about to line Kendrick catalog up next to Jay catalog, next to Nas catalog, next to Ghost catalog, next to Rakim catalog, next to Scarface catalog, next to KRS-One's group and solo catalog. And what you're going to find out is that catalog ain't what y'all been saying that it is, that y'all been holding on to. We about to break this shit all the way down.
You've been taking notes, huh?
No. I did this while we were having this show because I could feel this shit coming. I wrote all of this while this is going on. That's why I asked you remember I was asking you what your like 5th best and 6th best Common album was? I was like, hold on, because I was like, I think Common and Game got a better catalog than Kendrick. I know Kanye got a better catalog. I know Jay got a better catalog. I know Nas got a better catalog. I know Ghost and Scarface have a better catalog. We can go back to the old school and pull up Rakim and KRS's shit.
Okay, let's get to it. I want to give a shout out to Kenneth Palmer before you go in for the super chat.
Hey, Mike, and I want to say something. Whoever Leroy Green is, you know your name is not Leroy Green. And I'm going to find you, Leroy. I'm playing games on the chat, Leroy. I'm on your ass, Leroy.
He's got a Rock Nation chain somewhere.
Man, he's working for Rock Nation. He's considered their title. I don't know. Who's Leroy working for the feds.
Yo, shout out to Kenneth Palmer and shout out to you, Kenneth, for posting us on Twitter. That was really dope. He says,
appreciate you.
He says, love you guys, but your rating on Kendrick's stage performance was way off. I said 10. He stole the show with those Grammy Awards and MTV performances. I'll give him a 10 on stage performance. I'm with that.
I have convalesced and told you that I could agree and give him like a 9 or a 10 for that. So
I'll say 9. And I'll say 9.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is what we're going to do.
Are you writing these things down?
I am writing these things down. Look, so you're saying that these people have a better catalog of music than Kendrick. And so what I want to ask you, what are we doing? We going to pick Kendrick's top 5 albums to put those against other great MC's top 5 albums? Is that what we're doing?
I believe you mean to say only 5 albums.
Well, he does have Overly Dedicated, right?
Okay, so list the albums.
It's problematic.
List the albums out for me.
All right, let's list the albums. We got Section 80. We got Good Kid, Mad City. We got To Pimp a Butterfly. We got Damn. So I have to count Overly Dedicated.
So you see how problematic it is just starting this shit off, right?
Yeah, right.
But people keep talking about his catalog.
If we have to put Overly Dedicated in there.
We got to put Overly Dedicated in just for him to measure up against the other legends y'all keep putting him in the box with.
Okay. Brian, this is the last super chat we're going to take before you go in. Brian says, nobody is playing The Real Slim Shady. It is consistently in the top 10 of streaming songs of the 2000s on Spotify. Check this Twitter account for proof. Eminem is a top 10 for record longevity. He is a 10 for records longevity. Oh, hell no.
Who put that?
That's what Brian said.
Okay. Brian, if somebody was
he is not 10 for
records
longevity. Come on, man. Ain't nobody playing these records, man. Honestly, I'm gonna keep it all the way above. Right after the Super Bowl performance, I start hearing on the radio they were playing some of these songs a little bit more. But let's just keep it real, man. This is just for the season, just because of the halftime show and all that. Ain't nobody playing those records.
No, you want to know what we
need? Nobody in the hip hop arenas.
What we need him to do is we need him to keep the same energy kind of circa July, August, and see what those numbers look like when the Super Bowl is long and faded. And it's like the NBA finals have just ended. College football's around the corner. Pro football training camp is starting to go on. Let's see who is checking all that shit when the memory is faded. It's very convenient. It's very problematic that he did that. And
so how are we gonna do this? How are we gonna do this? When because I know you said Common's top 5 albums, right? Because you said Common has a better catalog.
We have a list of things. Do we need to get to the rebuttals from Wednesday's show before we even go into this aspect of it? You know what I mean?
Okay, we can do that. DeCarlo says y'all gotta stop acting like white.
Into these album breakdowns because that's specified to one comment and it's gonna probably take up all of our airtime if we cover it first.
Okay. DeCarlo says y'all gotta stop acting like white audiences don't matter. We're not saying that, but let's be honest. Hip hop culture doesn't move when on those premises.
No, I'm going to say this.
Listen, I don't even want to say a white thing because everybody is in all these hip hop spaces. When you're in a hip hop venue and they playing hip hop records, whether that be Future, whether that be they playing some T.I. shit, whether they playing some Dilla shit, whether they playing some Mobb Deep shit, are you hearing him in these mixes? Are you hearing these songs in these mixes? You might hear a third base song if somebody's out here playing like Naughty by Nature or something like that.
More likely to hear Jump Around by House of Pain.
You will hear Jump Around. So it's not a white thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a records thing.
No. Let's get this straight. When it comes to this, we matter more. And you just need to accept it and deal with it because we live in a country and we live in a world where we are almost not first at anything, so I don't want to hear that fucking like white people shit like going on about hip hop ever like again. In this shit, black people matter more. Get over the shit, deal with the shit, shut the fuck up all the way about that shit right there while we live in this racist ass country with racist ass people doing racist ass shit on every racist ass level every day. This is some black people shit first shit.
Well, I mean, it is what it is when we talk about.
We ain't having no fucking conversations about that shit.
When we talk about radio formats, though, Coop, where it's like there is a such thing as hip hop radio, right?
Fuck out of here with that.
There is a such thing as hip hop radio. Eminem doesn't have any hits on hip hop urban radio, right?
Because we run that shit.
It just sonically doesn't mix with.
It don't work with us. That's what I'm saying. We first up in here because the shit don't work with us.
But it's called hip hop radio too. Now, CHR, yeah, like top 40 radio and all that, yeah. He got hits there, but when it comes to hip hop radio, he doesn't have a lot of long lasting stuff. So I wouldn't say that I'm having to check another one of these spammers. Man, we must have really made some Eminem fans mad. All right.
I don't really care about them.
The spam is back. Okay, well, let's get to some of the other things before we start going down on this this Kendrick.
We were talking about Kendrick.
List. So the other note was you said you wanted to talk about Scarface's catalog. I think we're going to do that when we do the Kendrick thing. But somebody asked, why do we have collabos as a category?
Because so many important moments in the history of hip hop are collaborative. That's why. Like period, point blank. So many of the great songs come from MC and DJ collaborations. So many of our great hip hop records are collaborative records and posse cuts. You know, I think one of hip hop's first early
like you gotta give people flowers for that too. Like Busta Rhymes should get flowers for the fact that he's such a great collaborator. Method Man too. You know, Lil Wayne.
No, but what I'm saying is their collaborations. They're not just like collaborations that are important to them in terms of like where they end up falling in the canon of MCs. It's important to the culture. Like Busta popping up on that scenario, that's important.
On a Tribe album. And when you think about it in that time, it's kind of unexpected based on their vibe. Right.
The Symphony with Cool G rapping Big Daddy Kane at the end, that's important.
Yeah.
Life's a Bitch with Nas and AZ, important. Brooklyn's Finest, Biggie and Jay-Z, important. Method Man and Redman, How High, important. Method Man's so important on so many collaborations. Shadowbox and Ice Cream, How High, I'll Be There For You, Cream. Pick a Method Man collaboration that's important.
You know, we give Method Man, and you know what? I don't want to say we because I think we've given Method Man his flowers. critics over that time period, back then
Back when it
especially,
didn't happen.
used to really give him hell for his lack of solo classic album output. I think two things were because of what his group was doing and what individuals in his group were doing. But people were reluctant to give him his flowers for how well he collaborated with everyone. And there was nobody at that time. If we keep it real, I think Method Man might have been the best collaborator in the 90s.
Yes.
He might have
Yes.
been, because he gives you
No.
the hook and everything.
I was
I mean,
thinking
I
about-
was
I
just
was thinking
listening
about-
to
hold on,
All
hold on.
Together now by Limp Bizkit. He
No, I was
murdered
actually
that
about to
shit.
say I was thinking about Biggie, but unfortunately Biggie passed, and then I thought about Meth's hook game and what Biggie didn't do hook wise outside of Junior Mafia, really.
Yeah.
And so you're saying something strong with there, but here's what it really is Mike. I mean, you want to know what I thought about actually? Who's to say Method Man isn't the best all around rapper in 1995? We got evidence everywhere that he's the best rapper in 1995. I know Nas is the best in 94.
I think him not having an album is the indictment, but
And I want to say something else too. That's where that F a rap critic, he talk about it, but I live it line comes from. Because if you look at when How High came out, well, How High came out after Return to the 36 Chambers, and Only But for Cuban Links have been out and gotten a ton of critical acclaim, both of those albums. And so when Meth is popping back up with the I'll Be There For You remix and the How High remix, he's back in front again.
Yeah.
And on the radio, and then helping Ray and Ghost on radio with Ice Cream. And so, like, don't tell me collaborations don't matter. That's big. All that stuff is
Method
big.
Man on Ice Cream, he got to get credit for.
Hold on. What's the only collaboration by a rapper on Ready to Die?
Straight up. Yo, man,
Method
shout out
Man
to
the
OG TK Cole. He sent us a super chat. He said, Coop just made me proud to be 45 years old and an OG. Don't know hip-hop cats listen to Eminem. I used to manage the Outsiders, so I know the real deal. Whoa.
Thank you.
Hey, shout out to you, OG TK Cole.
Thank you.
I would like to hear more of that, the real deal, yeah. Because honestly, Outsiders gave him a lot of credibility when it came to the rhyming.
We just got to keep it
the
funky.
hip-hop rhyming, but we got to keep it funky.
It's not hate if we're being honest. If we're being honest about Eminem, that doesn't mean we're hating on him. If we're being honest about Kendrick, that doesn't mean we're hating on him. Like we're about to have to discuss Overly Dedicated, because guess what? He hasn't gone to work like I've been saying these other people have that he gets considered up against, and it's not fair. He don't go to work the way Game go to work.
Somebody, Black Line says, bro said Eminem brought Dr. Dre back. I'm done laughing my ass off. Yeah. Snoop brought Dr. Dre back. Listen, the beginning of the resurgence of Dr. Dre starts with Bitch Please. And for the people who don't know, that wasn't on the Marshall Mathers LP. That was on Top Dog.
All I ever wanted was a B, was a G. Ha!
Anyway, so damn, where were we before that? Oh yeah, Method Man.
We were doing all our rebuttals.
we gotta give props for collaborations, because you know you gotta get credit for being on Ice Cream in that facet, because without Method Man on Ice Cream, I think it's safe to say, as incredible as those verses and that beat is, that's not a hit without Method Man on that hook.
It's not the same.
One of my favorite hooks ever. Actually, you know, I know you say Cream is one of the best hooks ever. I personally like Ice Cream's hook better, in my personal opinion. I mean, I'm not going to debate you on it, but yeah.
Ice Cream is fundamentally a better rap hook, but not a more important rap hook culturally, and they're comparable hooks. Cream's more important too, Mike. Like, it's the importance part of it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because here's the thing. People aren't walking around saying, watch these rap niggas get all up in your guts, even though it's way more clever.
Caramel Taco Deluxe. You know what? Somebody did quote that.
Yeah, but it's not the same, Mike. It's Cream, Mike.
I forgot what it was. But no, Cream is iconic. But I personally like the Ice Cream hook better.
No, like on a bar to bar level, Mike, the Ice Cream hook is actually way better. Like,
I
yeah.
like the beat to Ice Cream better than Cream too. And we're talking about splitting hairs now. I'm not saying anything is like, if I heard
No,
both of those
I get what
beats
you're saying about
side
the
by
Ice Cream
side,
beat being better. No, I get they're playing with a little bit more money around that time. A little bit more. A
yeah.
little bit more. Yeah.
Okay, so that's why we got collaborations there. Now, one of the big issues that people have was the fact that you didn't have Nas's legacy as a 10.
Let's discuss that.
I think I had Nas's legacy as a 10.
How can y'all do that?
I mean, how could you not?
Because I was there and I watched how everybody treated Nas, and it wasn't ever like outside of Illmatic, he never got treated like his legacy was a 10. As a matter of fact, the way he's being treated right now, which is the way he was always supposed to be treated, is the first time he's been treated this way since Illmatic, and that's why I put 9 down. I didn't put it down because his legacy shouldn't be a 10. I put it down because people didn't treat his legacy like it was a 10. Y'all treated Pac, Big, and Jay's legacy like they were 10s. Y'all treated Nas like he was done in 98, 99, 2000, until Ether. Pusha T has a bar on one of his mixtapes. Need a way out, like Nas needed an Ether.
So you feel like
how can his legacy be a 10? How can his legacy be a 10 when so many of y'all have discredited his legacy while it was active and going on?
So okay, you're taking a different standpoint. You're taking you're taking a standpoint that the public dictated.
Yeah, it's the people's fault. Legacy. Yes, it's your fault. Yeah, I put down a 9 because of y'all.
Well, see,
I didn't give him his just due because y'all hated on It Was Written. Do you understand the shit that went on when It Was Written came out? And now everybody runs around acting like they loved It Was Written when it came out. I remember how many days I spent defending It Was Written. Y'all wasn't loving It Was Written like that.
All right. Hold. Slow down. Let's slow down real quick. I think there's a lot to unpack here.
Cap. Arsenio Hall and Harlem Nights cap. Very small cap.
We received a lot of our following by breaking down how publications have been unfair to Nas over the years. And it is very, just when you look at it, it's really crazy how long this has been going on. Mm-hmm. And so I will say this, and obviously we got our following because people see the bullshit and they're actually Nas fans. I'm not going to put this on the public. I think a lot of the stuff you're talking about comes from the top down because we still hear these stories about how MCs, how they glorify Nas and love Nas, and he was the chosen one. He changed everything.
Man, I can remember having conversation with DJs, other MCs, hip-hop heads, and I'd be talking about Nas in 98, 99, 2000, like a top 5 MC, and people was looking at me like I was crazy. Crazy. Like, don't tell me that wasn't going on. I told you, next to Rakim's run, the greatest run that I ever see in terms of how somebody got treated was what? Jay. When did that happen?
It's perception reality, though. Because
no, I didn't say, it was never reality. We're seeing the reality of it now, but here is the reality of the matter. That perception took hold for a very long time. Let's go to Biggie.
So when we do Eminem, we're going to have legacy at a 10.
This is what I mean about the legacy. Your reign on the top was short like leprechauns. Biggie taking shots. Tupac taking shots. Jay taking shots. Cameron taking shots. 50 taking shots.
But you know why all those people were taking shots? Because they knew he was the best.
Yeah, because he's the best.
He's the best. And people are going to take shots
outside of Illmatic, but Mike, outside of Illmatic, nobody popped up and said that except for 2 instances since then. Ether and this run with Magic and KD too.
But where is it now? I think we got to look at the totality.
If somebody has a 30-year career and you only say that they're the best when they first come out and for a brief moment that they win a battle and then 20 years after that battle, that's not a 10 legacy. I'm sorry. And that's on the people.
I think one of the things is the fact that he was fighting ghosts. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about Biggie and Pac.
Right.
Because there's not anybody else that people were saying that would even debate anybody else being better than him other than Jay. You know what I'm saying?
This is what I'm saying. So let's stop for a second. Let's keep Jay out of this equation. Let's go to 94 and 95. What's his legacy compared against Big and Pac? in 94 and 95? Is it a 10?
I think he's the
Is
best.
it a 10 and Illmatic is out?
Yeah.
To who?
He's
when?
To hip hop fans.
Where?
To hip hop fans.
To the tune of 300,000 albums sold.
You're talking about sales.
I'm not talking about sales. I'm talking about the impact
Rewind?
on the culture too. Like, hey, outside
his impact on
rhyme,
he changed the way everybody was flowing.
Like I was there outside some rhyming shit. Like everybody be like, yeah, Nas is the best rapper out here. But they was talking about Big and Pac all the time.
Nigga, I remember back in those days.
That impacts your legacy when you're the best MC and nobody's even talking about you because they're talking about the other two guys. That impacts your legacy. That's why. Hold on. If Illmatic was like that, Lauryn Hill doesn't pop up singing hooks and shit on If I Ruled the World in '96, and neither does R. Kelly on Street Dreams remix. If Illmatic had it like that, and if he had it like that, it was written, doesn't even get handed to the track masters. Y'all are full of shit.
No.
Don't even touch it. It was written if Illmatic got it like that. I disagree.
I think that, first of all, I think it was written.
This is some bullshit. I was there. It was written, got made because of the notoriety he wasn't getting.
No, I agree. I think it got handed to the track
masters. How is a legacy of 10 when you make the best rap album ever and you don't get notoriety?
Listen, the problem was, and we talked about this earlier, with Illmatic, it didn't have the hits that Ready to Die had. It didn't have the hits that Ready to Die had, and them handing it over to track masters was an attempt to make those hits. I don't think that it affected who he was to hip hop. Because I remember, man, when Nas was out, especially
that when he had to go get beats from the track masters.
That was for hits. It's a record business. You have to sell.
But he wasn't affected. He was obviously affected because what I'm trying to say is that he just made the best rap album ever, and he had to change what he was doing. What the fuck?
DeCarlo says Nas was never a 10 while Biggie and Pac were alive.
Thank you.
Unknown Name says Nas gave birth to J. Cole.
Biggie and Pac were alive when Illmatic got made, everybody. Hello.
Let me let them finish this.
They were alive. They were here.
Let me let them finish this super chat real quick. Hold on. Unknown Name says
he got a solo album out when Illmatic came out.
Come on, Coop. Nas gave birth to Jay-Z, J. Cole, Kanye, Common, Kendrick, Eminem. That's a legacy among countless others. Name a rapper I ain't influenced. You're describing the industry politics, not legacy. I agree. It's more of an industry politics thing than a legacy thing. I feel like. And Kenneth Palmer says, I agree with Coop. I never really talk about how Jay used to influence hip hop to keep Nas at the bottom. Example, Hot 97. It affected Nas's legacy. There's a lot of blackballing going on, and you're right. It is from the top down, and some of those moves, alleged moves, I guess I would say, because I'm sure we have Rock Nation people in the chat.
Legacy.
Know, it does affect the way that you're broadcasted. Okay. But I don't think. I think Nas's legacy is in the hearts of the hip hop.
Right? Fan. Ain't nobody all that sensitive shit. Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit.
It's not sensitive. Right? That's what a legacy thing is.
No, nobody's trying to hear it. Look here. Here's how the shit go. Rakim shit on Legacy look like a 10. Mm-hmm. Jay shit look like a 10. Cole and Kendrick shit look like a 10. Because a lot of the shit is about the people and how they treat you when the shit is live. There is no Jay being a 10 and Nas being a 10. You don't feel like Nas
gets treated like the king?
He's getting treated like the king now. That wasn't going on.
Big and Pocket just died. Well, I guess again, you're saying just even off of circumstances,
and everybody treated him like king. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Big and Pac died. DeCarlo just said, when Big and Pac were here, Nas' legacy wasn't a 10. Big and Pac died. Jay went and sold 5 million records and assumed a mantle that was even bigger than Big and Pac's mantle and was as big as we had seen since Rakim. And y'all are trying to tell me that Nas's legacy was a 10. And I was like, well, that's not how it happened, though.
So your argument is if Nas' legacy was truly a 10, Jay would have never been able to slip in and do what he did anyway.
Hello, message. Message.
Here's another comment that I found. Here's another comment I found interesting. Someone had a problem with me giving Kendrick's voice a 7.
I don't.
I think that, you know what, I know people are going to think that we're piling up on Kendrick, and we're going to get to Kendrick's catalog, which I think is something that we really have to start breaking down, which is a great catalog in my opinion.
We about to get to these 2 mixtapes and these 3
but
albums, Mike.
I think the one thing that Kendrick lacks the most, and I say this because I'm a Kendrick fan, but people that I know that don't really rock with Kendrick like that, it's because of his voice. And I think that's one of the weaker points in his game. And so, yeah, I think Kendrick's voice is a 7, just like Jay-Z has said that his voice isn't one of the strong parts of his game.
It's not. His voice is very interesting.
His voice is an acquired taste.
Yes, that's what I mean about it's interesting is like sometimes you hear it on certain tracks and it works extremely well for those tracks. And you can marvel at his brilliance and how he uses the voice on those tracks.
I think it affects his versatility too.
There are other tracks where you hear him and it's like, well, he tried too much on that, or just vocally, I didn't like the way he came off. Like vocally, that beat's not for him necessarily per se.
Yeah,
he can get into a groove with his voice and be brilliant. I give you the example of the song that everybody loves so much, and I think we all consider to be easily one of his top 5 songs, and that's Money Trees. Well, vocally, he's great on there. That's not some of his best rhyming performance stuff, but vocally, yeah, that's some of his best stuff right there. But he doesn't always vocally come off that way. And that's what I would say to that. And when people say that he's great, voice-wise, they're talking about the different things that he does with his voice.
Well, people in our chat are agreeing with what we're saying. DeCarlo says his best friend hates Kendrick's voice and says that's why he can't listen to him. And right. I also saw someone say that they would have given him a 4 on voice. So
even with something like, you remember Biggie's voice on Gimme the Loot?
Uh-huh.
I don't ever want to hear that voice except for on that track again from Biggie.
Oh, you're right. I didn't think about that.
You see what I'm saying?
Nas the Goat says something with a super chat.
It's the papers. I don't ever want to hear that again from Biggie.
No, you're right. Because he's somebody who has a much better voice than that.
It's not even a clear indication of his talent, but I see what he was doing, and the back and forth was necessary and all that.
Kendrick does that voice a lot, though. You know.
That's what I mean. Yeah. That's what I mean is that like when you do it the way that Biggie did it on Gimme the Loot, and you kind of leave it there, it kind of can get held in classic mode, and you can deal with it because it's just that one song, and so it's more cinematic. That's what I'm saying, that goodness gracious, the papers, where the stash at, where the cash at, nigga pass that. No, when you do that one time, it stays. But when you keep on doing that shit, no.
Nas the Goat says, I honestly don't feel that his legacy should be downplayed because of other idiots. His legacy is and will forever be a 10. Cool. I mean, I see where everybody's coming from with that.
No. That's cool. Let's talk. Let's talk about this 5-album / mixtape legacy compared to everybody else's legacy. Y'all keep holding them up against. That's what I'm saying.
No, he's talking about Nas, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. He's talking about Nas' legacy. But Kendrick's voice. Yeah, I think it's an acquired taste. I think 7 is even kind of generous. I think it's the weakest part of the great Kendrick Lamar. And I think Kendrick Lamar is great. I think he's a great lyricist. I think that when we think of great lyricists, voice really plays a big part in it. And I think that J. Cole having a much better voice than him is why J. Cole's able to be more versatile and work on a lot of different tracks with other individuals than Kendrick is. I think Kendrick messed up Goosebumps, in my personal opinion. Travis Scott's hit record, Goosebumps. I want to touch my lie, yeah. It just, vocally, he didn't sound right on there. I mean, the delivery and all that's one thing, but it starts with the vocals.
You know, here's something that Kendrick and Jay do have in concert, is that vocally speaking, that is the least impressive part of both of their games to me in terms of what they bring to the table. But it's like... And
I think Jay has a much better voice than Kendrick.
I think Jay's voice can do more that keeps your attention long term. Like a lot of the stuff, and here's why I don't love Kendrick's voice. A lot of it is very, I don't even know how to. What's the word? Where it's like it kind of catches your attention, but it's gimmicky.
Yeah.
It's gimmicky.
I can take it because
Like,
I respect him as a lyricist.
it's meant to catch your attention,
Mm-hmm.
but it really doesn't stick to your ribs and stay with you like it should. I'm going to give you an example. It's like I love DNA, but I love DNA so much more after I haven't heard it for about 3 or 4 months, and then I go back and listen to it. It's not one of those songs that I can go put in every day vocally because of what he's doing on the record.
It's kind of like a caricature, right? Because when
Yes.
Kendrick, I've seen Kendrick just rhyme. Like when he was rhyming on Tony Touch's show, when he's freestyling there, he's using a regular voice. So like he was on Black Lip Bastard remix where he's like, Black Lip Bastard, pass me, get password. When he's like, look inside my parking garage and see a collage of every person out the spot since the moment I turned 5. Like he's not doing all of those things with his voice. And I think that people could take that in a little bit better if he was rhyming in that way or using his voice in that way. LP says, with the super chat, he says, Nas went platinum before and after Pac and Big died. He gets all the respect from the streets. Coop's still salty at vibe. Yeah. Oh, another person, Damian Harris says.
Let's stop for a second. Hold on. Let's stop. No. Let's stop for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Barely went platinum before they died with It Was Written. Like barely. Like don't be framing that shit like he was out here balling. Like he had barely went platinum.
If I Ruled the World had a lot to do with that.
It Was Written was #1 on Billboard's top 100 for 4 straight weeks. So it went platinum relatively fast. But if you go look at the work that he put in, you're damn right it was supposed to go platinum. Mike, you and I on Wednesday went through 5 guest verse appearances that he did between Illmatic and It Was Written that is like, and all of them are epic on top of If I Rule the World coming out, on top of the fact that, this is Nas. And
you're returning from Illmatic,
Right, it's Nas and you're returning from arguably the greatest rap album of all time. Right.
Yeah, all eyes are on you at that point.
So when he making it seem like it's like Nas, it's like, no. Nas wasn't out here balling like that when Pac and Big died. You know that shit.
LP says Kendrick used that alien voice too much on Good Kid, Mad City. It ruined a few others on that album for me. He didn't do that on Section 80, and you're right. His rap voice was a lot different on Section 80. That alien rap voice, I feel like that voice is very Andre 3000-esque from Slim Cutter Calhoun's song "It's Okay." And for the young people out there who might not know that record, go to YouTube and look up "It's Okay" Andre 3000, and that's when he was like, I love my man. We got ups and downs, and I get lonely, and I'm like, that's Kendrick's whole style.
Hey,
what?
I used to run Slim Cutter Calhoun up at Velvet and Strokers, and you're right, Mike. Vocally, he took Dre's whole shit on different pieces of Good Kid, Mad City. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing about it. He incorporated it so well into his style that it felt influential and not like he was jacking it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nog Corp says, Kendrick's giving me Nicki vibes.
It's very problematic.
That's funny, but she's right. With that character in what is it, Roman or whatever she calls her character. Yeah, but I think that's kind of how that theatrical voice is taken.
Yeah, could be. Hey, look here. I be telling people, okay, so look, when you hearing rappers rap with different voices and different tones, I'm just gonna tell you something that I know: mental health issues. That shit is not something that it's like easily pulled off. Like Slick Rick. I believe Slick Rick probably suffers from some sort of depression or anxiety. I believe Biggie, mental health issues. Mike, I think DMX's mental health issues documented.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you use that other voice and you're able to pull that off so well, that might be great for music, Mike. That might not be great for your personal life. You might mentally, you feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You're creating characters. Like schizophrenia is real. Bipolar is real. Multiple personality disorder is real.
It is real. It
This
is
shit
real.
manifests itself in small ways, and in major ways, it manifests itself on records. That's why I was telling you, like that Biggie shit, you hear it once, you never hear it again.
No, they heard that voice somewhere at some point.
Biggie talks a lot of dark and dense stuff, Mike.
Mm-hmm. He did.
Mm-hmm.
Rusty Nail says Eminem influenced Kendrick. Rigger Ross says Kendrick is a huge 3,000 biter. Huh. It's funny when you say it in that way. Okay, so
Biter.
I think Eminem's voice would be very low too when we run it through this, these categories. I think that's probably one of his lower marks. I never really liked Eminem's voice, even when I did like some of his songs. Like I think one of my favorite Eminem songs is like Role Model. I like Eminem when he's on that.
I think when I like him. You know when I like him vocally. I like him vocally when he is inflecting his voice the right way, a la Dead Wrong.
I was gonna say I kind of like that one, but the one I really like, I like him on Amityville. Like I like Eminem's voice on Amityville. When he's rapping like that, I could get with that.
No, that's that guy.
Yeah.
No, that guy's a problem.
Now that I can get with.
No, that guy's a problem. The guy on Dead Wrong and on Amityville's a problem.
Yeah. Because he's doing some things vocally on Amityville that a lot of other people can't do. It's like it's a mix of rock and rap almost.
No, he's vocally there, lyrically there, delivery there. Yeah. No.
I also like him on I Remember, where he was dissing Everlast. His rap verse on there, dope, in my opinion. Jordan House says Eminem's great vocally on Renegade. He is.
Yes.
He performed well on Renegade.
No. His performance on Renegade is great.
And that brings us to another comment. Someone made a very astute comment about Jay-Z's storytelling. They were saying that Jay-Z doesn't have a lot of stories told, but the way he's introspective and kind of takes you there and takes you to the place, it feels like he's telling stories. So maybe his storytelling rating should be higher than what we gave it. Because when we look at Jay for stories, it's not like he's going to sit there and tell you a story in the way that, Slick Rick may, right? It's going to be more juicy by Biggie than Warning.
So I gave him a 7 for storytelling. So what do you think he deserves?
I think he deserves an 8.
I'm okay with that. I can be okay with that.
Because technically, Song Cry is not a story, but it takes storytelling abilities to get songs like that off.
No, he has. You want to know what he has? He has. This is the hustler in him. Mm-hmm. A great salesperson knows how to implement a quick story to help
close the sale.
Yeah, well, I was about to say to help effectuate what they're trying to whatever it is they're putting down. A good story, right quick, like a quick story, is a great way to kind of like finish things off or to put people in the frame of mind of thinking so that you can close.
Right, like picture this.
Yeah, stories help hustlers close deals. So the story may not be the closer, but if you're a hustler and you're a thinker, it sets you up to close. And so he does that a lot on record with you because, well, he's a hustler, He
paints the picture so well. Like
right, because he needs you to buy in so he can get you to feel what it is that he's thinking. That's what I mean. He's a hustler. He doesn't even want you to know what he's feeling. He wants you to feel what he is thinking. That is player shit.
I mean, the same thing with, Imaginary Player feels like that. Politics as Usual feels like that.
That's what.
Like I'm taking wages down in Vegas. If you know what I'm saying, even if Tyson have a night off, that's clean money. The tax write-off, you ain't seen money in your life when it.
Come to this cheese, y'all like 3 blind mice, smoking bros who pump Willie I exposed. The furthest you Chili's been is the Poconos. My portfolio leads to Don Corleone. Nigga, please.
LB216 has a super chat. We appreciate the super chat. Y'all keep them rolling. And we're going to keep, responding. He said, curious on how y'all give rappers who are not battle tested a 7. That should be a 0 or an NA. That's a good point. It's a good point.
You want to know what? That is such a good point that we need to take note of it.
It's a good point.
But hold on.
Because if you haven't been battle tested, it's hard to. You shouldn't even really have a score.
But also too, is that fair to the people that have been battle tested?
Like, I don't know. Something we need to put in consideration.
And it's also like this. And so, hold on. So, and listen to what you're saying when you say this. Okay, so let's say we were to give Rakim an NA for battle testing, and because of that, Rakim were to come out somewhere like 18th on our all-time MC list. Now, Mike, you and I know that shit ain't right.
It's not right. It makes me think maybe, do we even need to have battle tested as a category? I just want the person to understand to put that down. That's exactly why that's not about to happen. Because if we were to put an NA or something down for Rakim, that would take Rakim somewhere to a place where somebody like Lil Flip or T.I., who have been battle tested against each other, get a higher ranker than him, and then thereby somebody like a T.I. can end up being ranked higher than Rakim. And I've said this. Battle tested category. And I've said this. And T.I. is battle tested. And T.I., in my opinion, still to this day, and that includes Lil Wayne, is the most versatile MC to ever come out of this region. I think T.I. coming out ahead of Rakim on any rap rating would be laughable, and not a rap rating that would be respected by the core members of hip hop who started this shit, who kept this shit alive, and want to keep this shit alive moving forward. Now tell me that I'm wrong. Well, do we need? All right. Well, does battle tested even need to be a category then? You know, and maybe we need to have a whole separate section for battle tested MCs. Like, well, see, but hold on, because here's the thing about it. Well, let's go to this. Well, part of why Nas's legacy is a 9, not even an 8, is because of Ether. Is because he survived kicking the door. Because he survived shots by Tupac. Because he survived shots from 50 and Cam when people said he was done. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so taking out his battle tested takes away from some of his aura. Who the fuck else has been tried by Big, Pac, Jay, Cam, and 50? Only Nas. So his battle tested being a 10 is super important to part of his legacy even being intact. So that's not fair to him. It's very problematic. It's very problematic. And Midget Mike says Bad Boy versus Death Row. How do you score that versus? I think that Bad Boy would get swept. Y'all know how I feel about those Dr. Dre records. Huh? Did you say Bad Boy getting swept? Bad Boy would get destroyed by Death Row in the verses. They would. Yes. I got... Because I got 4 words for you: The Chronic and Doggy Style. Biggie records to hold up against all that. There aren't enough Biggie records to hold up against all that. Not even Big. Not even Big. Big's not surviving Pac and Snoop. Like forget the Dre shit. Big's not surviving Doggy Style and All Eyes on Me. Like no, that's not fair. That's not fair. And then you could throw in a What Would You Do by the Dog Pound or whatever. I'm about to say you could throw in the Murder Was the Case soundtrack. You could throw in Dog Food. Oh, there's that whole Above the Rim soundtrack. Y'all want to do some Chronic, Mike? There's the Chronic. So yeah, Bad Boy, y'all want to do some R&B? We can pull out the SWV anything from the Above the Rim soundtrack. The Chronic. Yeah. Doggy Style, All Eyes on Me, Dog Food, Murder Was the Case. That's enough. Rim. Above the Rim was on Death Row. Is that on the soundtrack? Pour Out a Little Liquor by Tupac. Yeah, that's on there. Shit is over, Mike. Yeah. Afro Puffs is on Above the Rim. Afro Puffs and Pour Out a Little Liquor is on Above the Rim. This shit is over. Sure is. LB216 with the super chat, man. We appreciate all y'all super chats, man. He said, then remove the category because it doesn't apply to everybody. Okay, I mean, we can think about that because it's Okay, first of all, battle tested was something that the people submitted to us, and what we would submit back to you is that if you don't want battle tested to be in there, what are we putting in its place? LP says it should be, Mike. It's a competitive sport, and it separates the goats. That's my thing. Yes. How about this?
if Nas doesn't have this battle with Jay-Z, this is Jay-Z's clear shit too. Like that's how important the battle is. Like I want people to understand this. People say that we hated on Jay, right? Mike, based on the ratings that we did roughly, Jay still came in second to Nas and only by like 2 or 3 points. Yeah. And if we take the battle tested and voice out of it, Jay wins this clearly. So don't tell me battle tested don't matter. It's literally like separating like 1 and 2 right now.
I don't think the conversation is it doesn't matter. It's like, how do you rate somebody who hasn't been in the battle? And see, the thing is, of all the greats, there have been remnants of possible battles. And I feel like Rakim might not have been in a full-out battle, but he stopped a lot of these things before they even started. Like, so even with the EPMD thing.
I look at battle tested on a few levels, though. I look at the era of MCing that you came from. Sometimes I look at your crew. That's why it's like, oh, no. I don't give a damn if nobody ever like said, fuck you to Method Man. Method Man had to rap in Wu-Tang Clan and go first. And like, that's how I know he won most. He went first.
So maybe we need to
rhyme for, no, those niggas rhyme for sport and beat.
All right.
If you've ever been an MC, that's how you get tested first as an MC. Method Man has battle tested me. Don't nobody want to rhyme against Method Man. How did that shit go for Chef Raekwon?
You know what? There's 2 things we can do here, and I see somebody putting a suggestion down here. They can make battle tested worth 0 to 2 points. Maybe we can make battle tested 0 to 5. Maybe that's something we could do. Or maybe we could say battle tested / competitive nature or something.
How about this? Is there a way to rank how you would rank competitively for your era, like the competitive nature of your era, where you would rank? Because what I would
because Rakim was extremely competitive. You listen to Paid in Full, it sounds like a whole battle rap album.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, how about this? If we were to take off battle tested and say, well, competitive rap climbing, well, Method Man would get a 10 and not a 9.
Well, he's around the Wu-Tang and he stood out.
And Nas and Biggie and Redman.
And he stood out still.
And he stood out 10. So his 9 would turn into a 10 if we were to go to competitive. Is competitive rap? For me, climate matters. Competitive rap climate matters. Part of the reason why I have Rakim so high is because I believe he comes from the best crop of lyricists ever, thereby had the most competition as an MC. Thereby calling him the best lyricist ever is not a stretch because he had to deal with Cool G Rap and Slick Rick and KRS-One and LL and Big Daddy Kane and a young Grand Poobah and a young Scarface and a young Ice Cube. Yeah.
Ice Cube's rating is going to be interesting too. We got a few super chats to get to real quick. LP says, what it does is it separates those who are subpar from that get in the ring and they never put the legacy on the line, risk losing their career. That's a good point because losing a battle, you can lose your career, or at least it used to be like that. And so the fact that you're willing to put the belt on the line and go out here and spar in a battle, you got to get extra points for that. I will say that.
That's what I'm saying. So for me, of all the top, how about this, Mike? The only top 10 MCs to me that are really, really battle tested are KRS-One and Nas.
Yeah. Juanito Garcia says,
"Want to go top 10 MC because Big's not is Big and Jay and Pac battle tested like that? Is Face battle tested like that? Is Ghostface battle tested like that?
I think Pac is.
How so?
I think Jay is too.
How?
I mean,
who?
Prodigy, man. And come on now, Prodigy's viable. He waxed Mace when Mace was at the top of his game. Imaginary player. Juanito Garcia says, most feared MC should be a category as well as freestyle ability. We kind of looped freestyle in with live performance. But again, I think freestyle is another one of those things. Not all of the MCs freestyle either. And then we have a variety of definitions for freestyle.
So I want to know what we're doing about this battle tested thing, though. Like, because I'm cool with making it competitive rap climbing.
Let me see what AK is. Another super chat has to say about it. He said battle tested would be considered in the rap climate. Would it not? Yeah.
That's what I'm.
Yeah, because again, if you're in a climate like, let's just say when Kendrick came out,
Mm-hmm.
the crop of MCs that he called out on Control aren't, and I say this respectfully, they aren't Rakim, KRS, Big Daddy Kane, and Cool
No,
G Rap level.
that's what I mean about how I rate Rakim when I'm rating him. It's like, oh, you sound like you're the best MC, and there are guys like Cool G Rap and Kane and KRS and Slick Rick and LL Cool J around. Well, that's a little different than just J. Cole and J Electronica sometimes being around. Goddamn right.
Just close your eyes and imagine if Kendrick Lamar would have spit that same verse in an era where those guys were around and called out Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, Cool G Rap,
No.
and KRS-One.
No. Hold on. You want to know who doesn't want to imagine that? Kendrick doesn't want to imagine that. That would never happen. He would have never done that in that type of rap climate. He wouldn't have had the cachet to do that in that type of rap climate. That's why the competitive errors matter. That's why I don't be ranking Kendrick and Cole as high. It's like, well, that's your competition. It's like, that ain't enough for me, fam. Give me Cool G Rap, Big Daddy Kane, LL Cool J, Slick Rick.
That's that old nigga talk right there.
OG talk. We can have OG talk if that's the case. But here's the reality of the matter. Go name some niggas from your era that rap like Cool G Rap and Big Daddy Kane and KRS-One.
To that level. LB216 says, Charles C. had a great idea. Make the battle test an extra credit because, again, it doesn't apply to everyone. And if we made it extra credit, it would be a scale from like 1 to 3 or 4. You know what I mean?
Okay, hold on. If we were to do it, I wouldn't want to give out extra credits. Usually not giving out more than 3 points.
Yeah.
So I would want to do it on a 3-point scale, but we still need to replace it with something else.
Okay.
So I'm cool with replacing it and making it extra credit because it does matter and does need to be considered.
I don't want to punish people either for not being in a competitive environment either.
But
you can't control when you came out.
But this is what I'm saying, and I'm not saying this because he's my guy and he's the GOAT, but it's like, don't Nas deserve some extra credit for surviving Biggie, Tupac, Jay, 50, and Cam? Don't he?
Jay, the biggest rapper in the game, extremely skilled, came at him right after his mother passed.
Big came at him on Kicking the Door. Your reign on the top was short like leprechauns as I crushed so-called willies, thugs, and rapper dons. Who the fuck do you think he's talking about? Who do you think he's talking about? What's that? He survived Kicking the Door. He survived the takeover.
He survived Pac calling him out on.
He survived
on the
against all odds.
theory.
Think about that. Kicking the Door against all odds in the takeover. He survived. No. He get points that other people don't get for surviving that and winning that and being considered still the greatest MC of all time years after that. People's careers are over when guys like that talk about you like that.
No, that's real. That's career-ending injuries. Even as great as Prodigy was, rest in peace.
Never the same.
He was never the same after the takeover. And I hated that, man. I really hate the fact that the takeover did that to Mobb Deep. I love Mobb Deep. And I knew they had some more greatness in them. Even as great as The Learning is, right? Burn. Prodigy didn't sound the same. And that's a great record still.
No, the few great parts of that album, he's not what's great about the album. The Learning is a brilliant record. Mm-hmm. It's not brilliant because of him. He's the low point of the song. I'm saying that as somebody that loves him dearly as an MC. He's the low point of the song. It's their last classic record. He's the low point of the song.
But Keep It Thorough, man, that is a banger. And he's talking about Jigga on that. That might be one of the better records going at Jay-Z.
Well, guess what? He should have dropped that shit when it was really going on.
Yeah.
All right.
And it shouldn't have been so subliminal either. He should have let it be known.
I didn't like how he handled any of that as a big fan of his. Because when Jay did all of that, I was like, as a Prodigy fan, was excited. It's like, yay. It's like, go ahead, go. And I was like, that's what you got? It's like, all jokes aside, that was one of those things that made me think, it's like, is his health okay? Because like the guy that I know is not going to put out those types of efforts and performances, and that made me think that something wasn't right with him health wise. Just truthfully, like what I heard on Infamy from him was like that's not the same dude. Like something's not right health wise.
Juanito Garcia said, "There's no MC more battle tested than Nas."
No, not in the history of rap. No,
not successfully. You know, I think 50's been in a lot of situations, but he didn't come out on top.
Tupac, Biggie, Jay-Z, 50 Cent, Cameron. Name somebody else that had 5 MCs diss them of that caliber. You can't even name another MC that's had 5 MCs of that caliber diss them.
You know, we are 2.5 hours in, and we still didn't get to that Kendrick part. You ready?
No.
You ready to get into that? Because I know the people are still here. I mean, we still got 182 people in the room. So I know y'all want us to get to
it.
this.
We're for it. Did we cover all the other rebuttal stuff though? And did we get another category to replace battle tested and turn battle tested into extra credit? Is competitive rap climate the category?
I think that should be. And it's hard to really sit here and punish somebody for not being in a... Look, this is the thing. Kendrick wasn't in a competitive rap climate, I don't think, right? But now it's by choice because it's very competitive now.
Yeah, right.
And you don't have any albums. So I think that is fair.
So I want people to understand this. When we're talking about competitive rap climate, LL Cool J is about to get a 10. Rakim's about to get a 10. Cool G Rap's about to get a 10. Big Daddy Kane's about to get a 10. KRS-One's about to get a 10. Ice Cube, Chuck D, 10.
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, 6. Understand? Understand. Long as we're
I think
clear.
J. Cole's different though, because he's coming out around this competitive time, but he's not really on top, maybe.
If you really want to know the truth, one of them's getting a 5 and one of them's getting a 7.
DeCarlo brought up a good point. He said star power. Make that a category. That's kind of intangibles though, right?
That's part of the intangibles. That's that Snoop Method Man factor. That's what I'm saying. Snoop, that's part of that. It's like, no. I want to hang with that guy, smoke with that guy, rap with that guy. Whatever that guy want to do, I want to do. That's cool because that's the intangible. So that's part of it. Yeah.
Okay. That's fair.
I'm putting competitive rap climate in. We're gonna have to redo these rankings for these guys.
Yeah. This is an ongoing process.
But it's gonna be real easy to get J, Nas, and KRS-One and Rakim 10s right quick. Hold on, 10.
I think everybody who was in that wave of the early to mid 90s is in a real competitive era.
Kendrick Lamar 6. What about Lil Wayne? How was his competitive rap climate? I would say 8.
Yeah, this is how I feel about Wayne, and this is no knock to him. I think he really rose during a time where people were looking for the next. He rose during that time when Jay-Z retired. Jay-Z was at the top of the game, and he wanted that crown. And when he went out there and was like best rapper alive since the best rapper retired, it was an opening door.
So is that a 7 or an 8?
I mean, for me, it's a 7. It wasn't a lot in his way.
What about Conway?
He rose to the occasion, but it wasn't a lot in his way.
What about Conway and Kendrick then?
I think Conway's a little bit more competitive because even if we look at his crew, and if we look at, the Jadakisses of the world being in that chamber, it's a little bit more competitive. And I think we need to factor in, I know it's kind of like, it's different than collabos, but when you get on records with these people, where do you come out at? Because what happens is, this is balancing out.
You come out in the competitive rap climate, right?
Yeah, because what advantage we have looking at people in this current climate or in some less competitive climates, it's a lot more collaborative, and we see how they shine when it comes to when they're on these records with their peers, like a Rick Ross or so, which is different than collaboration, I would think, right?
So I would give Wayne a 7 too, but what if I would tell you that I would give Conway a 9 and I would give Push a 9? Because Push has actually survived multiple climates.
Mm-hmm.
and come out on top multiple times, no matter who. Like, think about it. No, he's been on a track with Lil Wayne. He's been on a track with Kendrick Lamar. Who you want? He been on the track with Rick Ross. He been on the track with Game. He been on the track with
Jay-Z. The only person missing is Nas, like you said.
I told you. That's why I was like, that's why I'm expecting a Nas feature on this album, because he said he was going to have some content on this album. And I'm like, well, you don't have a Nas feature yet either, and you really got everything else. So that would be where I would go with that. And so for me, he's somebody I would put at a 9. Conway is somebody that helped this climate become competitive again, and more often than not, against the top tier competition, has the best verse.
AKs and Curtains with another super chat. We really appreciate it. He said, will y'all be ranking Big L and Big Pun? Yes, we will.
Hey, hold on. While you're joking, when I sent Mike a list of the next 10 MCs, the first 2 MCs I listed off were Big Pun and Big L. Tell him, Mike. Ain't that the first 2 people I listed?
Let me go through the list that you sent, because somebody asked, will we be doing Mystical on Wednesday? No,
not yet. Mystical's gonna be in the top 100, so he's gonna be getting covered.
Because I like that second list of people you wrote out. You said Big Pun, Big L. They were actually the first 2. Yeah. All right. Big Pun, Big L, Andre 3000, Mos Def, Redman, Busta Rhymes, Eminem, DMX, Cool G Rap, and LL Cool J.
Yep.
I'll say that again for the people in the back. We got Big Pun, Big L, Andre 3000, Mos Def, Redman, Busta Rhymes, Eminem, DMX, Cool G Rap, and LL Cool J. Now I know somebody, Bruce Almighty said it again. He said y'all should do Nicki. We should do Nicki.
Nicki gonna make this 100.
Yeah.
Like, everybody gonna get in here. Like we're 10 MCs in right now, and we're really taking the time right now to kind of refine the criteria, because we knew that the first shot that we did of this, we wanted the people to be involved. We wanted to see how it goes. We wanted to make sure that our 15 criteria points kind of clicked and worked. We're moving 1 point out and making an extra credit category.
All right. Should we do a day where it's like Nicki, Kim, MC Light, or should we just mix it up? Should we just do 10 people?
I don't like that, because Love the Genius posted something on Instagram last week or maybe 2 weeks ago that struck me about how she feels insulted about being called a female MC. And I respect her talent and her gift enough.
An MC is an MC.
That I'm not going to group the ladies together like that, just off the strength of what she said. Just off the strength of that. Because I seen when she posted that, like, when you calling me a female MC, what you really saying is, and I was like, okay, like, my bad.
I've always felt like that, man. And it's like, whenever we would do posts where we're like, who's the better MC? It'd be like Lauryn Hill and another male MC, right? People are like, you can't compare the two. Why not? An MC is an MC.
Right. I think what's going to be a more accurate assessment of what we're going to have to do, Mike, and I'm not being funny when I say this, we're going to rate the women and slide them right in next to the men. I think it becomes a question of which women that we're ranking in, because here's what I'm going to submit to you. Outside of Lauryn Hill, Queen Latifah, MC Light, The Brat, Foxy Brown, Lil' Kim, Nicki Minaj. Who else is a definite of the female genre MC that deserves?
Eve. I think Eve.
Okay, so Eve.
I think Eve. I want to get to the Carlos comment. He said he asked where we're gonna be doing Drake. Yeah, we're gonna do Drake.
Yeah, getting this work. But that's what I'm saying. So like even with Love has.
What about Missy Elliott?
Considered, because how about this, Mike?
What about Missy and Rhapsody?
Hold on, I love Rhapsody.
What about Rhapsody?
I love Love. Like Rhapsody's in there for me. That's why I'm asking questions.
What about Jean Grey?
I don't know if Jean Grey's in there. That's what I'm saying.
Why not?
But hold on.
If Big L's in there, Jean Grey got to be in there.
Whoa.
She got more material than him.
Hold on. That's why I'm saying we got to stop for a second. You want to go MC to MC? I thought Big L was a better MC than Jay-Z for most of the time that Jay-Z existed while Big L was alive. And I mean that
I
shit. And I got
disagree with
proof
that, but I feel you.
hold on. And I got proof of that shit. So when you comparing Jean Grey to Big L, it's like, hold on, like that guy could have been a top 10, 20 MC all time.
I'm just talking about the career, the amount of material.
Oh, I mean, in terms of material, she's there, but is she a top 100 MC? Because that goes back to what Love says. It's like, well, I'm not sliding you in because you're a top 20 female MC. If you just want to rank it as an MC, where does she fall as an MC? Because I don't know if she's a top 100 MC, and I don't know that about Muhammadiyah or Rod Digger.
I love Rod Digger so much.
Are you certain?
What about Gangsta Boo?
Because that's why. Hold on, listen to the MCs that I'm naming of the female variety. Lauryn Hill, Queen Latifah, MC Lyte, Da Brat, Lil Kim, Nicki Minaj, Eve, Rhapsody. No. I know that those women are one of the best 100 rappers of all time. Who else you got that you know?
Is it just the top 100?
Are we covering 100 rappers, or do we need to cover 150 now? You see what I'm saying?
I mean, it's whatever. I just think if we just get a variety of people.
Right, but what I'm saying is if we doing 100, Muhammadiyah not getting in, and I love Muhammadiyah. Jean Grey not getting in, I love Jean Grey. Y'all not getting in if we rank in the top 100 MCs.
Juanito Garcia says that Lauryn Hill has
Roxanne Shante.
Lauryn Hill has top 10 in hip hop. Period. Skill levels unmatched, even with less material. Well, I don't want to get in that conversation because again, we'll run that through the categories. But my question,
the female variety was Lauryn. Everybody know what time it is.
Unknown Name says Jean Grey is better than Rhapsody. I'm with that, honestly.
No,
Jean Grey is super dope.
I'm not with that. On what album?
Jean Grey is super dope.
Yeah, she's super dope.
And she's been doing it forever too. Like,
name the album.
I actually, my personal opinion, I like Jean Grey better than Rhapsody, but I think Rhapsody has put together the albums.
No.
But when we talk about just bar for bar, I'd rather hear Jean Grey. Like you heard Jean Grey on that Brooklyn song for Ninth Wonder with Mos Def and Memphis Bleek?
No, let's stop for a second. Jean Grey lyrically better than Queen Latifah, MC Lyte, Da Brat, Lil Kim, Nicki Minaj, Eve, and Rhapsody. Is she better overall? No. Show me the album. Show me the songs. Show me the work.
She got work. She's just underground. I think that's the thing.
Name it right now.
Look, this is what we need to do.
Hold on. This is exactly what I was just saying about how the bars got to stick to your ribs even when they're lyrical. Her shit don't stick. Is what I'm trying to tell you in a nice way. But since you just want me to say it, her shit don't stick because you can't name it. The people out there can't name it. Y'all can't name the album. You want to know what?
You didn't like This Week?
Hold on, lyrically, she blowing Da Brat out the water. She don't got nothing close to Funkdafied.
You didn't like the This Week album?
She don't have nothing close to Funkdafied. Next.
Okay.
Close. She don't even have nothing in the wheelhouse of. Do she?
We got to go back and listen to Jean Grey.
With all that rapping, that's what I'm saying. Like all that rapidy rap shit. Like no, you got to back it up with the album. You got to back it up with a Paid in Full.
But see, you know what? The crazy thing is,
you got to back it up with a Purple Tape. See, even on the female side.
Cool. Real quick, the way you feel about that is exactly how I feel about Rhapsody. To be perfectly honest,
Rhapsody made Eve. That's better than everything Jean Grey's ever made.
Eve is a dope album, but I view it as some
better than everything Jean Grey ever made. It's not even a conversation piece.
Tom Izzo says Jean Grey never had a hit.
Fuck a hit. She never made a project even close to as dope as Eve or Funkdafied or Hardcore. Her shit don't even be better than Foxy's projects, Mike. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
so it's like the MC, she's there, but she ain't got nothing to show for it, so she's not gonna make this top 100.
The Black Line says, Coop, right though. Listen, let me ask you this. How do we deal with ghostwriting?
She dope as fuck. I done heard her out rap Black Thought on a track before, Mike.
How do we deal with ghostwriting?
I mean, we don't deal with people that do stuff like that, but that's just
what? No, that's just the nature of the beast. Some of the people that you mentioned had ghostwriters.
No. I get what
Is
you're
that
saying.
gonna affect the lyric side of it or what?
You want to know what? In the case of those people, I mean, including the case of MC Light.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
Queen Latifah.
and Queen Latifah.
Tretch wrote some stuff.
Tretch wrote some stuff.
You and ITY is Tretch.
Biggie on a couple reference tracks on hardcore. A couple reference tracks on hardcore. Not all of hardcore. But yeah, and they're going to get docked for that. But you want to know what? They're still going to win. Because the sum of the parts, Mike. So they're going to lose some MCing points for the right and help. They're going to score super high still. The ladies are going to score higher than people are even realizing. The girls are going to come off better than most of the guys.
Well, we're going to see.
I'm looking at the girls that are lined up. Like if we just throwing them in there top 100 and ranking all that out, after you get past the ghostwriting stuff, the women that actually made it, oh yeah. Because it's like, here's the reality of the matter. Some of your favorite rappers ain't made an album better than Hardcore Funknified. That's some real shit.
All right. Well, before we get out of here, because I know we like 2 hours and 40 minutes in.
No, Mike. We should stay because the people aren't going anywhere, and I want to get this Kendrick shit out the way.
Let's get this
Kendrick shit out the way.
Okay. So you said Common has a better catalog of music than Kendrick. So what we're going to do is we're going to take Common's top 5 albums, match them up against Kendrick's top 5 albums. Mm-hmm. And what order do you want to do it in? From best to worst? Or I think we're going to say Good Kid, Mad City's Kendrick's best, right?
Yeah.
All right. And so we're going to say number 2 is To Pimp a Butterfly or Damn?
I would say Damn, but the people are going to say To Pimp a Butterfly.
All right, let's do To Pimp. And then we're going Damn. And then we're going Section 80. And then we're going Overly Dedicated. All right?
Yep.
And so Common's best album is B, correct? Like Water for Chocolate.
Yep. He already won right there, in my opinion. Like, we're already done because his 2 best classic albums are better than Kendrick's 2 best classic albums because y'all don't be playing To Pimp a Butterfly.
One Day, It All Makes Sense.
I actually think Finding Forever is his 3rd best album.
Okay. Well, since you're doing this, we'll go with what you're saying. Finding Forever, One Day It All Makes Sense, and Resurrection, right?
Correct.
All right. So here we go.
Hold on. Let's go ahead and take Overly Dedicated off the board because that's not fucking with Resurrection. Let's go ahead and swipe that off. Let's go ahead and swipe off number 5.
So it's 1-0 Common. Okay, We'll just go upward then. One Day It All Makes Sense and Section 80. One Day It All Makes Sense is better, in my opinion.
I think that's a wash.
All right, we'll call that a wash.
I would lean towards Section 80 if you asked me to choose.
Okay. Finding Forever and Damn. Damn.
I'll go Damn.
Like Water for Chocolate and To Pimp a Butterfly.
There we go, Mike. And here we have a problem with Kendrick because Like Water for Chocolate is a better album and you play it more often. And that's why it's a better album.
To Pimp a Butterfly is better on a technical level.
Like Water for Chocolate. This is what I keep telling everybody. What do you play? Do you play Like Water for Chocolate or do you play To Pimp a Butterfly? Then don't tell me To Pimp a Butterfly is better. Because it's not.
This is a discussion, man.
What are you playing? Mike, you know how Like Water for Chocolate starts off. Doesn't it make you want to listen to the entire album? To Pimp a Butterfly does not do that.
I love Like Water for Chocolate. I love Like Water for Chocolate a lot.
It's better to listen to.
It's hard for me to say that it's better than To Pimp a Butterfly, though.
I mean, the light. Hold on. How about this? The light's better than All Right.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
The Sixth Sense is better than a lot of that album.
The Sixth Sense is better than almost everything on To Pimp a Butterfly except for like 2 or 3 songs, Mike. That's what I'm saying. Like if you really want to start rolling his shit out and like having the conversation.
The people in the chat are saying To Pimp a Butterfly is better.
Name the songs. Let's line them up. I'm going to show you how foolish you sound. Name the top 5 songs on To Pimp a Butterfly right now.
What are the top 5 songs from the people in there on To Pimp a Butterfly? If people
you want to know what? Hold on, Mike. I just threw people a trick because here's the thing about it. We about to get some questionable ass shit. All types of songs about to pop up because the shit's shaky as hell. Go ahead.
I mean, listen, man. I don't know if that's the best way to say what's the best album, though.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know, Coop. I think we gotta say The Pimp a Butterfly is the better.
You don't know. Y'all all over the place.
I think To Pimp a Butterfly is. I mean, it's the one. I mean, some people are saying like Water for Chocolate.
No, I'm looking at the list for Time Traveling, Cold Blooded, Doing It, The Light, The Questions, The Sixth Sense.
I love this album.
A film
Thelonious, in my opinion.
Hey, no, I can't. The song for Asada, no, Mike, I can't say.
Okay, all right. This is what we'll do. I'll pull up To Pimp a Butterfly, and we're gonna go song for song.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, we're gonna go song for song. Wesley's Theory.
Wesley's Theory or Time Traveling?
Time Traveling is better than Wesley's Theory to me.
Next. That's not a conversation. Next.
All right. For Free, that was an interlude. Well, no. That's kind of a song.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's next on...
Heat?
Huh? Heat? Oh, no. Heat got that.
Keep going, Mike. It's about to keep on happening like this.
No, you know what? I'm thinking because Time Traveling is kind of an interlude. Heat's the song I'm thinking about. So let's put Heat up against Wesley's Theory. Heat is better than Wesley's Theory.
Yeah, that's still Heat.
All right, so For Free is the interlude. And then
Cold Blooded.
Cold Blooded is better than that.
Yep. Keep going, Mike.
King Kunta.
Doing It.
I like Doing It better. This is 3-0 comedy.
That might be a top 5 record on this classic album, correct?
I think it could be. Institutionalized with Bilal.
The Light.
Well,
next.
That's The Light. We're looking at 4-0 right now. These Walls. He got to win this one.
Funky for You featuring Bilal.
I got These Walls, but...
I got These Walls too, but barely.
Yeah.
And that's one of and Funky for You is one of the weaker songs on this album, and we both know that.
Yeah. What about You?
The Questions.
Oh, The Questions got that.
Yep.
All Right.
Time Traveling Replies. We can give it the All Right.
All Right, got that. For Sale.
The Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense. Easy. All right. Mama.
A Film Called Pimp.
Mama got that.
Okay, I give you that. I was thinking Drawish, but go ahead.
Hood Politics.
Nog Shampa.
Draw. That's one of my favorite songs on
Me too.
Like Water for Chocolate. And this is one of my favorite songs on this album too.
Me too. That's a draw.
I'm cool with that being a draw.
I'm cool with the draw. Yep.
Okay. How much a dollar costs? Thelonious?
I love
Is that
Thelonious,
what's happening? I'm going
Right.
Thelonious. I'm sorry.
Are you?
I am. And I know people are gonna say I'm crazy, but you know, Thelonious is my favorite song on this whole album.
Okay, How Much a Dollar Costs is my favorite song on To Pimp a Butterfly. Wow.
Yeah.
I think How Much a Dollar Costs is inherently a better song, but I can't even say that in clear conscience. You see what I'm saying about like
Dilla went crazy on Thelonious.
Hold on. My favorite song on To Pimp a Butterfly up against like my third or fourth favorite song on like Water for Chocolate, and I'm like arguing with myself.
Tells you a lot, right?
It tells you a lot.
But see, I think that the album kind of drops off after Thelonious, though, to be perfectly honest.
I give you that.
People are saying How Much a Dollar Costs. And Rigor Ross says Thelonious is the best song on the album. I agree. Jay Dilla. It's Jay Dilla's best rap verse ever.
It is Dilla's best rap verse
He went crazy on there.
That's what I'm saying. And then you go into the nostalgic factor of like Common and Dilla and the whole
8X Averex jacket.
Hold on. Let's stop. At Thelonious right now, if we were to call Thelonious and How Much a Dollar Costs to draw, how many records is Common up by?
It's 6-3. Common's up by 3.
Okay, so keep going.
All right, so we're gonna call that a draw then?
Yeah, we're calling that a draw.
All right, we'll call that a draw. We'll keep going. I got Complexion.
Yeah, Payback as a Grandmother is not touching Complexion. Yeah.
Okay. I like that song though. I like Payback as a Grandmother. Black of the Berry.
Ghetto Heaven Part 2.
That's Black of the Berry all day.
Yep. So now it's 6-5. Watch this.
And now we're going. You Ain't Gotta Lie. I love that song.
A song for Asada.
I gotta be objective here. That's a song for Asada, but I love You Ain't Gotta Lie.
But it's a song for Asada, isn't it? Objectively speaking, right?
And objectively speaking, it is. But
and Mike,
this
and
is
that,
the same
and
guy who campaigns with the people that elevated her status. But whatever.
And that
has nothing to do with the song.
Right, but also too, Mike, we can stop right there because that ends it.
Well, that's 7-5, and the fact that it's that close.
Right.
I'm not comfortable saying like Water for Chocolate's better than The Pimp a Butterfly, but if you feel that way,
how about this?
I
Hold
can't
on.
be
This
mad
is what
at
I'm saying. The albums are more comparable than people realize.
That's the point.
And that was my point. My point is that y'all keep on waxing about To Pimp a Butterfly. I'm like, it's not that much better than like Water for Chocolate. Like Water for Chocolate don't got shit on B.
B and Good Kid, Mad City.
Let go.
Huh?
Let's go. Live.
Oh, we going song for song?
I mean, we can, but I think
B is a better album.
Right, B is a better album than Good Kid, Mad City, and I want somebody to fight me right now.
Nah, B's the better album, in my opinion.
Right. So if the second best albums are comparable, that guy has the better first album, that guy has the better fifth album. Who got the better catalog?
And then he has more albums that we didn't even mention.
He has another 5 to 7 albums to choose because hold on, because Mike, he like to go to work and do his job.
Because he has Black America again, and he has The Dreamer and the Believer that we didn't even mention. So
right, he got all Mike. I mean, we can go Electric Circus and pull some of that Dilla shit up.
All right, so who's the other MC that you wanted to put in this this Kendrick thing?
This is what I'm saying. The documentary, Doctor's Advocate.
Oh, you want the game? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I want to line the game up.
All right, let's line the game up.
It's not fair. It's not fair to line him up with Jay and Nas and Scarface and Ghostface and Rakim and Karis when he's going to lose all of those.
Let's line him up with the game. This would be very entertaining. What do you think is the game's best album?
Personally?
What do you, in this scenario, what do you want to be lined up with Good Kid, Mad City? Let's just put it that way.
I want to line Jesus Piece up with Good Kid, Mad City.
Is that his best album?
I think so.
Let's put it in order. Because I think most people say the documentary, right?
Everybody says that, but that's the people that haven't heard the way that he learned how to rhyme after that. Like he's not an all-time great MC on the documentary. Like he's an all-time great MC on Doctor's Advocate, Jesus Piece, LAX.
I think people would say that the documentary is better than Good Kid, Mad City.
I can't argue with that either, actually, when I'm thinking about it out loud. Mike has got more bangers. That's not even... Actually, you want to know what? Let's go ahead and start at the top. We can start with the documentary.
And then Doctor's Advocate. Or...
Hold on. Where are we going? The documentary versus Good Kid, Mad City?
Well, no. Let's start from the top like we did with Common. So documentary, okay. What album's going to go second?
Jesus Piece is going to go second.
Okay.
Doctor's Advocate is going to go third. LAX is going to go fourth. And you can pick between the documentary 2 or 2.5. I like 2.5. The Dominant Dream is on 2.
Let's go 2.5. I think 2.5 is better.
2.5 bananas,
okay.
Man. It got Wayne and Nas on back-to-back songs together.
Scarface is on that side too, isn't he?
Shit, man.
I mean, on that disc too.
Boy, shit crazy.
All right, 2.5 is better than Overly Dedicated. Boom. I think the Section 80 is better than LAX. Now we're getting to Damn and Doctor's Advocate.
I like Doctor's Advocate better than Damn.
What do you guys say in the chat? What's the better album, Kendrick Lamar, Damn, or The Game, Doctor's Advocate?
I'm going to run it down for you. There's Why You Hate the Game with Nas on there.
Mm-hmm.
All Around the World with Jamie Foxx is on there. California Vacation is on there with Corrupt and Exhibit. Old English with Busta Rhymes is on there. Scream on 'em is on there. Wouldn't Get Far with Kanye is on there. One Blood with Junior Weed is on there. Compton, produced by Will I Am, is on there. Hold on, the Scott Storch joint is on The Doctor's Advocate.
Yeah, the first single. Yeah, I think Damn. Everybody in the chat saying Damn.
That's fine. Damn, yo.
Yeah. Now, we got Jesus Peace and To Pimp a Butterfly. Go ahead and make your case.
There's only one case to make, Mike. Ali Boumaier is better than everything on To Pimp a Butterfly. Next.
One song doesn't make the album better.
No, all jokes aside, go song for song and pull it out. Go song for song. Y'all about to be messed up.
All right, let's do this again. I already got all right, Wesley's Theory.
Versus To Pimp a Butterfly. This is why I keep telling you about To Pimp a Butterfly and how the shit don't slap like that. You're about to see how it don't slap.
Okay, Wesley's Theory.
Y'all scared with Meek Mill. I'm not even looking at the track list. Who the fuck scared now?
All right, and we got For Free
versus Ali Boumaier. Next.
Boumaier. King Kunta.
Huh. Jesus Peace with Common and Kanye. Next. Yeah. 3-0.
Institutionalized.
Pray with J. Cole. 4-0. Next.
Jeez. These Walls.
Church. 5-0. Next.
No, I don't know, man. I still
Church
think
is better than These Walls. Yes, it is. Church is better than These Walls. Church got played on the radio without being asked to get played on the radio. Hold on. I gotta think of the track listed in the top of my head right now. Hold on. After Church, is that the song with Wayne? Lady. The Lady song with Wayne is track 6.
I like that song. Yeah, that's way better than You.
You see what I'm saying?
It's 6-0 right now, by the way.
6-0 right now.
All right.
Hold on. You're probably gonna win all right, because I know Name Me King is track 8. I can't remember track 7. Let me pull up this game album right quick. Mike, notice I do the first 6 songs off the top of my head.
The Kendrick fans are killing you in there.
Kendrick fans don't know what the fuck they talking about. They deluded and they haven't heard their boy rapping about 5 or 6 years, and he was only rapping for 5 or 6 years before that.
George Thomas Jr. says Coop act like his word is law.
Y'all act like this nigga been rapping for 20 years when he's been rapping for 5. Right.
Nas the GOAT. He said, will y'all do Lupe Fiasco? Of course.
Yeah. Heaven's Arms is track 7, so all right's better than that.
Okay. And after that, we got For Sale.
Name Me King with Pusha T. Yeah. It's looking bad for your boy.
Mama.
I don't slap like that. That's why. These records don't slap when you line them up.
Mama.
See No Evil featuring Kendrick Lamar.
Mama's better than that.
Yeah, it is. Because this is one of the weakest songs on this album.
Charles Carter says The Game and Friends versus K-Dot.
Right. Notice nobody's fighting for the songs because they know the songs aren't better though. They just talking shit. Right.
Hood Politics.
Can't Get Right. I love Can't Get Right, but that's Hood Politics.
Hood Politics got that.
Yep.
How Much a Dollar Costs?
Hallelujah. I love Hallelujah, but that's still How Much a Dollar Costs.
How Much a Dollar Costs? Complexion.
Freedom. That's Complexion.
All right. He making a comeback.
Yep.
The Black of the Berry.
Celebration featuring Chris Brown.
I like Black of the Berry. And I like Celebration with the bone sample and all that.
I don't like either one of them, to be honest with you.
Black of the Berry is great. You Ain't Gotta Lie.
Hold on, Mike. You keep telling me that, but I don't ever hear anybody playing it, including when I fly back out west. How funny is that shit?
You Ain't Gotta Lie.
I remember. I think I remember's better. But that's just me. I like trash.
Well, I'm going with You Ain't Gotta Lie. It's tied now.
No, that's fine. That's cool. Blood Diamonds.
Blood Diamonds is better.
Yeah.
Mortal Man.
Dead People. Mortal Man's better.
Well, it looks like a tie.
Right. So
But see, you know what the thing about To
hold
Pimp a
on, hold on,
Butterfly is it
hold
gets
on. So listen to
stronger.
this. Listen to this. If we can run Jesus Piece and To Pimp a Butterfly down, and the records are comparable, why the fuck everybody talking about To Pimp a Butterfly like it's some sort of epic masterpiece, but don't nobody ever say anything about Jesus Piece? It's not as great as people say it is. Period.
Well,
Records don't hold. When you line the records up, you see that the records don't hold. So tired of explaining y'all how these records don't hold up.
we are 3 hours in, and we need to go ahead and close out. I think that's a good place to stop. Man, we still have more content to give, but
we got
there's
more.
Wednesday.
That's what's crazy. How many people are in the room, Mike?
We got 142 people in the room still. So we're going to holler at y'all on Wednesday. Y'all have a great weekend. And we're going to run down these next 10. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you know when we're going live. Holler at us, too, if you want to be a moderator so, you know, we don't get these spamming people. And also make sure that you get in the comment section and, you know, tell us what other categories y'all think that we might need to replace something with something so we could possibly consider it, because we're just going live right now. We haven't had a chance to really mull over all this stuff. So
hey, here's how much of a joke the catalog is. I'm gonna run off Jay and Nas's top 5 albums right quick so you all know like who this guy isn't right quick. Reasonable Doubt, Blueprint, Volume 1, Blueprint 3, Black Album, and or Volume 2, Illmatic, It Was Written, Lost Tape, Still Minute, Godsung, Magic. Listen to those 12 albums I just named. The only one of Kendrick's albums that would even fit in those 12 Jay and Nas albums is Good Kid, Mad City.
well, there it is.